one of these days we're gonna be professional, like legit professional, and be on time, right on time.
No, I refuse.
We have been early like once or twice when we were trying to make sure we caught the I guess culture raid when
Yeah,
it's gonna be coming.
the culture after party.
Yep. I mean, we're a party in and of itself. We don't, yeah, but we're the after party. It's cool stuff, good stuff.
We're our own party.
And of course, speaking of the people who come to the party regularly, our hardest of hardcore fans, Bad Tina Bojan was in chat already, and I
30
see our
minutes early to the show, too. Holy crap.
she beats Bride of Slender.
Well, technically, I mean, Bride of Slender lives with the show. So.
That's true. So, are awesome, and there's low spec Linux. Welcome, thanks for coming here like always.
Is that a fat penguin? Is that what that is?
It is. It looks like a
Oh,
penguin.
it's got to be a penguin, right?
Well, what's the one? What's that one little fat little bird that looks sort of like a penguin but with a bigger beak? A puffin?
Yeah, but this is a penguin. Like, that's a Linux thing, too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. It's a, oh, he confirms.
Yeah, penguin.
Penguin. Penguin. There's Tina. It's welcoming everybody. Good job. Thanks, Tina, for being so awesome. We got fun topics. Oh, yeah, chat's a little bit. Not a puffin. Yeah. I mean, puffins. They're weird. They're like not good enough to be penguins. I don't know. It's one of those.
Puffins are what happens when a penguin has sex with a toucan.
Oh shit, that is actually a good description of what happens. Oh, so we've got some fun topics tonight that I think have not been beaten to death yet by our corners of the interwebs. Um,
Well,
we're
some of
going.
them have.
Some
Obviously,
of them
when we get
have.
into the Disney sphere,
Yeah.
that's been beaten to death and then some.
I mean, Jesus. I
But we
and
gotta
I
talk about it,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I know, and I watched a good lot of it, but man, I know that day that they were doing their quarterly meeting or quarterly phone call, that was like 12 hours of people streaming. Like, we got Legal Mindset going into Culture, going into Midnight's Edge, going to WDW Pro, going into Valiant Renegade. It was,
Yeah, I just didn't care that much. I was like, I am not going to learn anything new from this. I guess it's kind of cool being able to watch them like have to suck it up and talk about how much they suck, but
well,
it's not like any new news was dropping during that call.
no, in fact, the stock has rallied, but we'll talk a little bit about why that's not really uncommon or really anything to be that thrilled about. But I think the story that I'd like to talk about first, because it's something we've addressed here on our show several times. I feel like we're a little bit of a leader in this category, and which is banging the drum for physical media and talking about how when you buy things digitally, you don't actually ever buy things digitally. Yeah, Brahm is right. They are getting into sports gambling and they're merging with and creating a Hulu 2.0, and we'll talk about that a little bit for sports to try to, mitigate their costs and get more gambling revenue. It's Disney is grooming and gambling, the two G's now. That's what they're all about. Um,
Sony's Crunchyroll erasure of Funimation anime libraries is inexcusable. Is
yeah,
it though?
so what? Yeah, so it got for those who aren't as adept at the weebology as we are, there were two major anime services about 5 years ago, Funimation and Crunchyroll. Sony now owns both of them, and since Crunchyroll was the bigger service with the more robust internet app, they rolled everything into Crunchyroll.
Dude, you talk about breaking up a monopoly. Crunchyroll and Funimation should probably be broken up as a monopoly.
Well, the interesting thing is, you remember how what Crunchyroll started as, right? It was a pirate site.
Yeah, it was a place where you could illegally view anime.
Yeah, it was a full-on Jack Sparrow level anime site where you would go pirate the anime. Eventually, to keep their site going, they started doing memberships, and people would pay fee. And then they went legit and started licensing anime to put on their stuff. It is the craziest story. It'd be like if LimeWire became a Netflix like streaming service. It's
Yeah, yeah.
but so but what happened is, when they started moving all the library content from Funimation onto Crunchyroll server, and they just announced this week, because they're going. It's the end of this month is when they're going to just erase Funimation and make it not exist anymore. And they sent the notices out to everybody who had made purchases on Funimation that, oh, guess what, your anime digital purchases are just going away.
Yeah,
we're
we're
not
we're
we're
not gonna
not migrating.
retroactively migrate your shit over to Crunchyroll where it would still be available to you. You have to buy it again, peasant.
If they even make it available
They,
sometime.
I mean, they probably will. They might censor it because
Mhm.
of Funimation and Crunchyroll. I always felt that Crunchyroll was the
They were
more
more censored.
sensitive of the group.
I think that's because of where they started as a pirate site, but yeah. And yes, Funimation was known for doing the more uncensored content. Occasionally, they got shamed. Like, Funimation had licensed a show called Interspecies Reviewers that showed one episode of, and then got pulled from their site because it was a little too much.
Dude,
It's
I
just,
just think back to like the 80s and 90s anime, and I'm like, you children have no idea how horrifying an anime can be. You ever watch a little anime called Ninja Scroll
oh, yeah. But here's the statement,
or
right?
the original Vampire Hunter D? I mean, whew,
Well, I mean, if you're gonna start doing that, there's a lot of stuff in the '90s.
if these new age animes offend you, never go back.
I
Never
mean,
go look at the history of anime because it will terrify you. It will break you as a human being.
I'm just thinking of some of the stuff that I used to come on Sci-Fi, and then eventually Cartoon Network with the Toonami,
Mm-hmm.
like late night anime stuff. Man, jeez, yeah, they used to pull no punches. So it's funny. But look at this blog post. We understand that you may have concerns about your digital copies from Funimation. Please note that Crunchyroll does not currently support Funimation digital copies, which means that access to previously available digital copies will not be supported. Poof,
Oh,
your
I love
entire.
that pivot right afterwards, too. However, we are continuously working to enhance our content offerings and provide you with an exceptional anime streaming service.
So
Are you
you
going to send people back their money since you're essentially taking away their product?
nope, because you never, when you buy things digital, you
Yeah,
never actually own it
you'll own nothing and be
and like
happy.
it. Yep, it's it's silly. It's
You'll
ridiculous.
you'll watch what we tell you to watch, you'll say what we tell you to say, you'll think what we tell you to think. Just sit the fuck down and do as you're told.
I know. I just don't. It's why. How do I put this? Why consumers seeded? I mean, it's convenient. I mean, I guess I understand. Yeah, exactly. Awesome ones, right? Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. When
Yeah,
they make
hoist the colors.
all right, I've watched some YouTube videos about where some people have been discussing, basically, when they make content disappear and have no worries about doing it and don't refund you or don't do anything to make you whole. When they keep raising the prices on the streaming services. They pull content from the streaming services constantly, just for their own, like, savings for tax write-offs and stuff. All of these things make it morally justified to go pirate. It's an interesting concept, and I started thinking about it, and it's, where is the moral line where you feel like piracy is a morally acceptable answer? And they're starting to push it.
Dude, I don't like the idea of piracy. I have avoided piracy for a long time. Um, but at this point, I'm getting real close to fuck it, set sail, you know?
Yeah. Now I do go. I mean, I've talked before about how you can make your own server architecture at home that
Mhm.
allows you to curate your own library. Yeah, that's a good point. This is the moral argument. If purchasing isn't owning, piracy isn't theft. That's the basic moral argument. The moral philosophy argument for it is,
Well, that's
if
what
I
I said about the gaming
yeah.
thing. If Ubisoft or whatever it was wants me to get used to not owning my games, then they need to get used to me not paying for them.
Hmm. And that's where they've made it clear
I'm still gonna
time.
play them.
Yeah, but
I'm just
they've
not
made
gonna
it
pay
clear
for
time
them.
and time again that you are not you don't you can pay the money, you can, in air quotes, own the game until we decide that you don't. Until we um don't make the server accessible to you, because it's
Yeah.
a live service game, and even though you bought the game, suddenly because that's not available, you can't play it anymore.
Hi,
Oh, hey.
zombie.
Hey zombie, thanks for coming here. And what about, all right, here you go, low spec. What about when piracy is the only way to get back what was stolen from you by corporations when you paid? Again, a morally strong argument that if you're one of these people
Yes.
who had this
Legally
library,
paper thin, unfortunately, because
yeah.
that EULA that you agreed to when you made the purchase specifically says that they can revoke your access at any time for any reason.
I know, but if I was
Basically,
somebody
it's like,
who's,
yes, you bought it, but you have zero ownership over it. We still own it. And like the good lords we are, if we decide that the serf doesn't need it anymore, we can take it away in perpetuity ad infinitum.
it's
Fuck
just,
you, pleb.
yeah, yep. And I I don't I think I'm starting to come down. I was always like you. I didn't like piracy. I thought it was not a good way. I invested in my physical media. I bought it. I make digital copies of the of what I own. Now there's ways to get cheaper physical media. Like, I am particularly a proponent, I've mentioned it before. Seek out your local libraries, and they do library sales usually every few months, as a fundraiser, where they take DVDs, music CDs, books, all out of circulation, but especially the DVDs, Blu-rays, and music CDs. They are usually in good condition and will work just fine. And you can get like a whole bag of that stuff for like $1 or two.
Mm-hmm.
Great way to get cheap physical media. eBay, you can get used. Don't be afraid of used stuff, man. Like, especially Blu-rays. I found a couple stores on eBay where you can get used Blu-rays for like a couple bucks. Way cheaper. I mean, that's cheaper than a digital rental. So, and Awesome One's right. They want everything as a live service so they can control your access, turn it on, turn it off, up the fees at any given time. And that's going to tie into some of the stuff we talk about with what Disney's doing.
Well, it's the baffling part, right? It's like I used to like a show, so I'd buy the seasons as they came out. And maybe there's 4 seasons. I end up spending like 80, $90, right? Now it's like I like a show, I can't buy the seasons as they come out because I have to buy the service that they appear on. And in a year, I spend well over 80, $90 for that show. It's like
But
I
the
probably spend 200.
But the weird thing is, I think the studios were making more money on you as a consumer buying that DVD set
Well,
than
yeah,
they
because
do.
they try to keep this infrastructure going.
Yep.
Like they have to maintain this infrastructure as opposed to, spend the point zero 0.01 of a cent to print up another DVD or Blu-ray that I then spend $20 purchasing. And they've made $19.99 of pure profit off of one sale, and our business is concluded. I can go on about mine. They can go on about theirs. No infrastructure is needed to support that anymore. Like they're done.
Mm-hmm.
And on the Disney front, since we were going to talk about Disney a little later, that is my theory as to why Disney will never truly recover until they shut down Disney Plus.
Or they completely revamp it. And I think we've talked about what Disney Plus would have should have been, and we kind of both agree, which is
You
about
can't do a rebrand when it's
no.
failed this hard. You have to shut it down, maybe try again in a couple years, but it needs to be gone
I,
for a significant period of time before people will even think about hopping back on that bandwagon.
mm, true. But so everybody in chat, go out, get your physical media, run a Plex server. You can get a home based NAS network attached storage like server that you can build, which is really easy. All you do is buy the hard drive and slot it into the housing. You can use Synology, QNAP. They all come with the software built in. All you have to do is buy the drives, put it into this housing, and put an Ethernet cable in the back to connect it to your network. Bam, you've got a server. I mean, you'd think, in the old days, it was very intimidating to hear, like, I'm going to run my own home server. Well, that sounds like really complicated. Do I need to have like an IT certifications? No, you don't have to know any of that.
You
You
got to go
just,
out and get your Network Plus, get your A
yeah.
plus certification.
I mean, I've shown you my setup in my house, Slender. You see it. It's really simple. It's a little. It's basically the size of a external hard drive system.
I mean, my thing is, if Lil Chad can do it, I think anybody with maybe an afternoon's worth of research can be ready to set up their own Plex server.
It's super easy, and it works really well. And Plex is you've used it. It's very user friendly. It's got a very Netflix like experience where you see posters. It tells you who's in the movies or TV shows. You just make the digital, and the digital copies is perfectly legal if you own the physical media. It is perfectly legal to make a digital copy for yourself and store it
Awesome
for
one.
yourself. Yeah.
Awesome one. I want to bring up the point that yes, and everyone says our economy is crap right now, but our White House keeps saying the economy is good. We've got more jobs and everything's up, and inflation only went up 0.1% last month. And it's like,
Well,
listen,
to,
if your stock is up to 105 after it was down from 200, yeah, sure, the stock's up, but it's not back to where it was.
all
Like
right.
that is
Well,
still failing.
then we're gonna jump right into why I'm gonna show that that's not really even something to celebrate.
Yeah,
Um,
look at that.
so this is. Let me go ahead and try to get this a little bigger here. One more zoom, I think, will do it. All right. So the stock popped, right? Everyone's talking about that right now. They did their quarterly call, which is done at the very beginning of February, and the stock popped and it's up to around $108 now. Here's the thing, Slender. Let's go back to February of 2023, right after the last time they did an earnings call. Look what happened.
Yeah,
Do you see how down here in December and January it was around in the 80s?
yeah.
And then by the time they did that earning call, it jumped up to around $110.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's look over here. You see here in December and January, it's around $80, $90. And they
Uh-huh.
did their earning call and it popped to around $110.
Yeah, it's
are you
because
seeing a
everybody thinks
pattern?
they're going to do a course correct and they don't. And the stock just keeps getting dumped when they realize, oh, Disney's going to do the same shit they've been doing all over the past couple of years.
And look, this is a normal pattern. Look down here. This was in January of, January. Now, granted, the stock was much higher back then because this was under Chapek. In January of
Dude, I
22,
don't know why they got rid of Chapek. I think they should have kept him.
yeah, because by the way, this is Chapek's tenure.
Yeah,
See,
funny. Who bookends that tenure? Oh yeah, Bob Iger on both
Iger,
sides.
Iger, yeah, and but you can see how it ruts down and then it pops every time right around those quarterly calls,
Yeah,
and then people take profit, and then it drops back down, and then it starts settling back into its normal range, pops around a quarterly's earnings call, and then drops back down. This is what's going to happen. I had mentioned it in chat. I was in several of the YouTube channel chats, and I was saying, look, it's going to get to around 112 peak, which is right around where it peaked, and then people who were buying the stock in the 80s are going to take massive profit because if you bought that stock in the 80s and it popped all the way to 110, you've now made a pretty good percentage profit. So you're going to profit take, and the stock's going to start dropping back down, and it'll reach where its normal trading range is. So within about a month, maybe month and a half, this thing is going to be back into the low 90s.
yeah.
So yeah, Brahma's got it right over here. The stock gets pumped right after the earnings call to screw the shorts that are out there, and then the stock goes back down and screws all the call options. There's a fluidity to this kind of thing. If your fundamentals aren't strong, this is what's going to happen because your stock is going to have these things, and then but you got to look over time, which is why I pulled this chart up, which is over 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Over 5 years, what's the trend line? Even with Disney going to 108 now, it is down. If you go to all time, right, you
Oof.
can see it hit these peaks, and then it's dropping. Now here's where things are a little
Yeah,
misleading because
things were
back,
looking good back in 2014.
well, that's right around when they started buying Disney, when they bought Marvel and Lucasfilm,
Yeah.
and so that's where they're coming up around here. And then their trading range was always, you see, it was pretty consistent, 90 to about $110.
Hmm.
And then we had the Chapek peaks, and now we've returned to our normal, which is 90 to $110, depending on, as Brahma pointed out, who's making the options and calls and things like that.
I
It is
still don't understand why they got rid of Chapek. It's like he took your stock higher than it's ever been. Like,
it's they
what
got rid of
happened?
because Iger wanted back in.
Uh,
Because
uh,
Chapek
Why would you put Iger back in? He's a piece of shit.
Iger was chairman of the board. So Chapek only had functionally about 2 or 3 months, maybe 4, 5 months of being the CEO of Disney without Iger there. And then in the background the entire time, Iger was working the entire board, which were all people he had hand selected himself to get rid of Chapek and let him back in. Because Chapek started undoing the things Iger had done. Because Chapek, say whatever you will about Chapek, he was a nuts and bolts, bottom line money guy.
Yeah, I'm for that.
And he was trying to make changes that would result in bottom line money profits to Disney. And that
Which we
involved,
can see on the graph.
you know, and that involved a lot of undoing what Iger had put in place with a lot of policy guidelines and other
Dude,
things.
it freaking amazes me that guys like Iger can be such categorically awful failures at everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they could buy me and my whole house like 50,000 times over. Man, I wish I could suck and get paid for it. Like, because if I got paid for how much I sucked, I would be a very rich man.
Yeah. And Igor, we trust Shadow Chaser. That's a good one. Yeah, it is not. I mean, here's the thing. Disney, I can tell you right now. There was some people who thought, specifically, when I was watching all of the content where they were going over it, where when Disney said their guidance for next year, next quarter was that the Disney Plus was going to add 5 to 6 million subscribers, and people were like, "Oh,
Bet.
no, no, it's going to happen.
You think so?
No, I guarantee it." And here's why:
How they gonna artificially create that?
because when they made you might not remember when Disney made their deal with Charter Communications, the cable company, they agreed that everybody in Charter's top tier cable package would get Disney Plus as part of the cable package.
So they're adding 5 or 6 million subscribers
Yeah, I was about to
for
say, do you know,
nothing.
guess how many subscribers Charter has in that tier? 5 million.
Holy shit.
And so they're artificially, you know, they're not doing anything that is, that is of their own volition gaining subscribers. People aren't subscribing to Disney Plus because of it. They're going to game it, and they're going to
Yeah,
end up
they're
making.
assimilating them like the Borg.
Yep. Yeah, how many rich mom and pop investors even know where their money is going when it comes to Disney? No. Disney is a stock that is propped up by institutional investors, and what that means is 401ks, like retirement plans, BlackRock, Vanguard. I mean, Vanguard, I'm pretty sure everybody who's had a 401k in the last 20 years has probably seen Vanguard as one of the options from their business.
Oh my god, no, Shadow, don't no. No, I don't want to live in that world.
The grain harvest was a record this year, so we are increasing the bread ration to 2 loaves from 4. Yeah, you just have to wait in line 18 hours to get
Isn't that a decrease? Send him to the re-education camp.
it. We have always been at war with East Asia or Eurasia, or whichever the name was. So they're going to end up making the same deal with Comcast,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to end up getting all of Comcast upper tier people in there. Here's the thing though, as part of the deal with Charter, Charter got to drop like a bunch of the FX cable channels, a bunch of the Disney channel like XD, Disney Junior, like all those cable channels that Disney owned, that Disney used to force them to buy. So
Mm-hmm.
it's still going to be a net loss for Disney because they used to get fees for each one of those cable channels.
And now they don't.
And now they won't, because that was the thing. Charter said, we want Disney Plus to be with, on our top tier subscription, and we want to be able to drop like around 10 of your cable channels from our system.
Well, the
We're just
problem
not going to
is
do it.
Disney is becoming more and more misaligned with the zeitgeist of the public that used to be their customers. Um, and the further they drift away, the worse it's going to get. Like, yeah, you can keep artificially inflating your numbers and everything else, but nobody's going to pay for Disney anymore because you've hollowed it out. You like poor Walt, man. I didn't want his legacy to go down like this, but because Walt was a good dude. That dude was based. But
Which is actually going to lead to one of the other things we're going to talk about, which is Gina Carano suing Disney.
yeah, it's
And
funny.
no, but what I'm going to point out is the reason she can sue Disney is actually because of Walt Disney.
Oh,
And would you like me to explain why?
is she the newest Disney princess?
She's sort of going to be one. Hey, back from vacation. Is this
Hey,
your
what's up,
first?
boys?
Is this your
How
first
was your
stream?
hard ticket to Hawaii?
It was a long flight on the way out, as you guys know. But no, the trip went good. Had a great time. Kids got to find out what the ocean's about and how waves work. So,
Hold on.
what's that?
Bride of Slender was apparently adding commentary, so
Yeah.
Slender muted. He's
So,
like,
yeah.
She's gone back to playing World of Warcraft and she's getting her ass kicked by fish people.
Morlocks.
Murlocs, yeah.
let's
Yeah.
see.
So,
Let's see, Tina over here. I'm sure there are enough Disney morons like me to keep Disney Plus going. Well, Loki's done finally, so you might be able to see the light.
We'll
Two
see
minutes
about
hate
that.
time. Gina's on the screen. Yeah. Let's see. Disney may be the modern Russian propaganda that created graphic design nearly 100 years ago. Yeah. Anyway, so it's good to have you back, Brahma. Good to have you back. I'm glad you enjoyed your
Thanks.
vacation and
Yeah.
immediately jumped on and got on our show. That's high
Yeah,
praise.
I know there are some people who are really missing those Tuesday night party animal sessions.
Yes, I've noticed in the in the private DM group.
I've got to say, I think a couple, specifically, we actually know one person in particular really needs the outlet, apparently. So we got to get that
Yeah.
back going.
Yeah, we'll be back
Oh,
on Tuesday. Yeah, I got back on Wednesday night. We got in, and because of the time difference, it was like, well, I'm not going to bed. So I immediately jumped on the midweek hump after show. Well, I mean, they didn't really do the after show this week. So, yeah. So the wife was like, yep, you're addicted. It was within like 20 minutes of getting back. I was like, well, I'm not just going to sit around. So, and then I did Thursday night throwdown last night. So, yeah, jumped right back into it.
nice. Nice. Awesome one tells you congrats on getting out to Hawaii. So that was good. Good, well deserved vacation.
I'm just glad I had white male pilots on all the flights. So,
I actually
Ooh,
told my
that's how
wife
you know
today.
you're gonna get there. Okay.
It's
yep.
funny you bring that up because today I told my wife, I was like, I don't think we're going to be planning a vacation anywhere we have to fly in the next few years because I'm just
Same.
not comfortable with what's happening in terms it's not just the pilots, Brahma. I saw those things where the FAA for the air traffic controllers was promoting the idea of mental instability as an underrepresented group. And I was like, that's
I don't
exactly
want
who.
mentally unstable air traffic controllers. Thank you very much.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
who
I
the
need
hell
somebody who
breathes
gets
that in?
pissed that morning and decides, well, I could just cross these planes paths.
Did you hear it was probably a month and a half back where the audio came out where the air traffic
Yeah.
controller was arguing with the pilot
Well, this is
about
what Google tells
it.
me.
And the pilot's like, yeah, I'm a
Uh,
pilot. I land planes. Please stop.
I've been doing this 17 years. Oh, yeah. Well, I Googled it and that's what it says.
And
Yeah. Insane.
obviously, I'll leave it to chat to assume the genders of the two people involved. So,
Right.
Oh
who
man.
goes to Hawaii and doesn't come back with a tan?
I came back with a burn.
Yeah.
That'll turn into a tan after a couple of days.
No, it'll just peel. I don't tan. I burn and then I peel.
Oh.
Embers is right. It's like waiting till after software 1.0 is passed. Yeah, it's like I'm gonna wait that out. I'm gonna look for vacations where I can drive.
Yeah, you always
Yes.
avoid the 1.0. Better to get like the 1.3 or the 1.4. That's usually a good place to start thinking about jumping in.
Yeah, so if we're going on
Definitely stay away
vacation,
from United.
yeah, if we're gonna be going to any meetups, they're gonna be drivable. So maybe Orlando's, maybe Texas at the outside.
I
Well,
have I have driven
that's
to
June.
Montana on more than one occasion, so yeah, I can. If it's anywhere in the continental U.S., I'll just drive there.
Oh, there's a meetup in June.
That's when the Dallas one will be this year. June 7th through 9th is the fan expo. So the meetup will probably be on the 5th or the 6th.
Mm.
That's like the one
And
time in
Vegas is
June
in
I
April.
can't probably go. So that's too bad.
Well, even Matt is supposedly going.
To the one in June.
Oh
Supposedly.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Until somebody gets worms.
Yeah, he got mad at me on Wednesday night for saying you're not going to show.
Oh my
He
gosh.
goes, "Are you drunk right now? Why would you bring this up? You know I
Like
can't give away details."
Just
last year.
keep hammering at home, and he might show up just
Oh,
in spite of
whatever,
you.
Slender. Last
I did
year,
that for 8 months last year.
Yeah, we were on every time we were on like post show. Brahma would remind Mad, you're going to the meetup, right?
I remember.
And
I
Mad was
even
like,
I even talked to his girlfriend about it constantly. And she said,
and
"Yep, We'll make sure it happens.
It's not even it's not even that far for him to go, and
Couple
The
hours.
funny thing is he probably fully intended to go right up until the day of, and then he was like, I don't really feel like going. And
He
that was
took a
the end of
nap.
it.
I'm gonna
He
be.
had a gummy and went to bed.
Yeah.
I see. I go the opposite. I think Mad fully intended to never go, and he was just stringing it along the other way.
See,
I
that's
don't
where
know.
I'm at on it. Of course, this will lure him out of his nap time and onto the show to defend himself. So
Yeah,
it's
he's
the only
gonna
reason we're talking about it.
all of a
He's gonna
sudden.
come in and be all fiery.
Mad is like Candyman. If you are doing a YouTube show and you start talking about him, he will somehow have the link and show up.
I will tell you, of all the content creators that I enjoy on a regular basis, Mad Cheesemo is probably the worst. Like, there's just no
Okay.
consistency to his release schedules. Like, supposedly he releases a new movie every week. I would say we're lucky if we get one every month. And how many of them is he editing right now, right?
One.
I feel like
And he
we're
better not even try to bring out the last one that we watched. The
you know
talking cat crap.
Oh, that was such freaking garbage.
back before Kevin Smith turned into a little bitch, and he used to do funny stuff. He did that Evening with Kevin Smith DVD set, which
I
was
actually
hilarious.
really liked those.
I really did. But do you remember the story, like when he went to Prince, to Paisley Park and was hanging out with Prince, and he was talking with Prince's like assistant, and she was like, "I have produced over 60 music videos for Prince," and he's like, "Oh yeah, which ones?" She's like, "You've never seen them because they've never been released. They're just sitting in his vault." It's like how I feel about it. We have had so many what the flicks or movies with Mad, and how many have you done? Like, oh, probably about 40 or so now. And how many have been released? Like six.
There's been a lot.
Yeah.
But to be fair, there's not a lot that's worth releasing. I mean,
Yeah,
we can only spice up some of these movies so much before it's like, nope, there's no saving this.
that's true. That is true. Sometimes, like, yeah, there was like the cat movie where we called the like hard stop, hard stop. This one is just not working.
45 minutes in, no, we're done. Done. And it took us an hour and 45 minutes to get to the 45 minutes into the movie, I think.
I couldn't handle it. That movie was such utter garbage. Like, that wasn't even fun to make fun of.
And that was
You know
like
what?
Eric Roberts gave the worst voice performance of anything I've ever heard in
Right.
my life.
Now people are going to want to see it. But it's not happening, people. Nobody will see that. Maybe shorts from it, but
I think Mad must have fallen back asleep because the amount of commenting on Mad we did would have definitely gotten him in here if he was awake.
Yeah,
he's
he'd
desperately
take that
trying to get
bait.
his pants on and find his shoes under the couch.
Yeah. All right. So let me tell you why Walt Disney is why Gina Carano can sue. Because this is a funny thing, and pixie dusters, as they're called, which are the Disney, hardcore people, don't understand this.
Oh my god. Fucking
They,
lame.
which what Disney people or
Pixie dusters? Fuck off.
that's what they call them.
The step above brony.
Exactly.
That is a very short step.
Yeah.
All right. Zombie is referring to when Eric Roberts, who played the Master in the American version of Doctor Who, it was a television movie for the Fox network that aired with Paul McGann as Doctor Who, and it was debated whether that was official Doctor Who canon until they made him an official Doctor when they did the 50th anniversary special. He was terrible as the Master. I'm really glad that he didn't continue, but Paul McGann was actually a really good Doctor Who, and I'm sad that he never got a chance to really do it. So there's my 2 cents on that comment.
Alrighty then.
All right, so getting back to this. Gina Carano is suing in federal court, but she's suing based on California law. And this is where people like this bothers me a lot because I work in finance and accounting. Slender knows I've run businesses. I've hired and let people go. And everywhere in these comments where the pixie dusters are like, And California is an at-will employment state, so guess what? She's out of luck. Let me explain something to people who don't understand what at-will employment is. So, at-will employment does mean that an employer can at-will let you go. That's correct. But
Hmm.
when an employer does that, they have to do it for no reason. You 100% have to do it for no reason. You have to pay people unemployment if they file for it. When you fire someone as an at will basis, you just look at them, you say, it doesn't seem like it's working out for you here. We're not the best fit. We wish you the best. Have a great day. If you file for unemployment, we'll be glad to let them know that you're eligible.
Right. You're being
What
fired
Disney,
without cause.
yeah, so what Disney did is they made, and by way of Lucasfilm, put a big fat press release out saying that Gina
Yeah, they
Carano was a horrible human being and we're never going to work with her again. Do
they
you
they
know?
established that they were firing her with
Yes,
cause, and they
yes.
can't prove that cause is not just.
And that's where the next part of California law comes in. This is where Walt Disney is involved. California passed specific legal protections for employees for political speech and political action. They are protected classes in California.
Here's the
Because of
problem
course
with
they
that,
are.
though, right? Here's the problem with that. California is also a bunch of fucking hypocrites, and because of her particular political viewpoints on these things, they will just be unethical and not help her out. Not they will not they will not administer the law even-handedly in a state like California, just like
Well,
they
I
won't in
don't.
Colorado.
that's the
I don't think
problem.
that matters. I
If
think
they
all they're trying to get is discovery.
yes, what this does is so
Well,
when
that'd be
you
cool.
all right, so when you file the lawsuit, you file it based on and the reason California has laws like this is because Walt Disney leading the charge in the 1950s. You guys may remember McCarthy and all the stuff you learned about in school with the
Red
House on
Scare.
American Activities. Walt Disney was one of the top studio leaders about getting communists the F out of his
Dude,
studio.
he hated him some fucking commies, and I
He
love it.
did. He did. So obviously that worked. Like they got rid of a lot of them. They even arrested them and did a lot of other things. So California
Yeah,
being
unfortunately, then they made one of them CEO.
yeah, so California being the lefty hotbed that it is, remember, all those people remembered when that happened, so they passed the rules so that studio heads, specifically it was designed to protect communists and communist affiliation, so that people in running movie studios and TV studios wouldn't be able to fire you if you were an outspoken liberal communist or that type. And this is going to end up biting them in the butt because this is clearly political speech. If you go in there as a in the court and say that what she was fired for wasn't political speech, that law is meaningless. So that means, like Brahma was saying, the main goal of this is to get to discovery so they can find emails, so they can see who was talking to who. California has an anti-slap motion, meaning that you can try to get a lawsuit thrown out if it
Oh, so
doesn't.
they're trying to find this a way to prove that this was recidivism.
Yeah, they're gonna some of
She
the
has the
allegations.
receipts, but they need to be able to present them legally,
Yeah,
which you need discovery for.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like for
And then she can
instance,
go, "Oh no, they look at these emails. They clearly fired me because they didn't like what I was doing, and this was malicious.
yeah,
This
like
was
the fact,
was malicious prosecution
yeah,
as far as it
well,
went."
the point that a lot of the people who were drumming up the Twitter hate mobs were employees of Lucasfilm and Disney trying to go after
Including Leslie
Leslie
Headland.
Headland. Yeah, so they want to get to discovery. And when you go into a dismissal hearing, the way it's supposed to work is that the judge, before he decides to dismiss a case, has to look at the allegations in the light most favorable to the person bringing the motion. That means in this case, Gina Carano. The
Right.
court has to presuppose that every allegation is true, and if true, is this worth going to court, going to the next space. It gets dismissed if in the light of everything they're alleging being true, it doesn't meet the threshold. Their allegations should be strong enough under California law as written that she should easily get through to discovery, which is why Elon Musk is financing her lawsuit, because she had the receipts that were so clear under California's laws, with political speech supposedly a protected state for employees there. It's one of the only cases where California becomes a really good place for people who were fired via Twitter.
Right.
For I know that people have brought up
They were
was
canceled.
yeah, Carrie Lynn, what for, when she got fired from as the, community manager for that games place. I don't believe she's based anywhere near California, so that's one of the reasons why her case wouldn't be as strong, because political speech, it's rarely a protected thing, because outside of California and states that have put specific protections in, employers can let you go if you say things that they think could be unfavorable to them politically. So it's an awesome confluence of events. And the funny thing for me is the same people who are saying employment at will, Gina's going to get laughed out of court, were the ones who said that Disney was going to just rape DeSantis in the courtroom with their First Amendment claims, which were just
Yeah,
recently
how'd that work
dismissed.
out?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Here, political speech is supposed to be protected, but sexism plays a part too. She was treated differently than male coworkers. That was a brilliant part of her lawsuit filing, which
Yep.
was saying that it was sexist because she was fired, but Pedro and Mark Hamill were not. And so males were protected when females weren't. So I love
There's
flipping
no
things on
difference
their
We're
head.
between
saying
males
the
and
same
females,
thing, but
so
opposite. Yeah.
like, I mean, we're all just cardboard cutouts. You are what you want to be. All Mark Hamill had to do was be like, I'm a girl, and it's fine. Like,
Mark Hamill,
But in reality, it's because Mark Hamill and Pedro Pascal took the opposite political belief of her. So even though it is a sexism thing, it's also just let's pile on the red pilled person.
mhm.
yeah, but honestly, like Mark Hamill and Pedro Pascal, I mean, some of the things they've expressed on their Twitter are equally as extreme. So why weren't they
Oh no,
fired?
no, no. They're
Well,
not
that's what I'm
just
saying.
equally, they're more sometimes. But here's the other thing.
Yeah,
Mark
her stuff was
Hamill,
mild.
yeah,
You know,
Mark
the
Hamill,
best you're gonna get is equally. They'll
yeah,
never admit that it's more extreme. They never will.
no. I will tell you this though. I love Luke Skywalker as a character. Mark Hamill is one of the worst human beings.
Oh, he's a
I've
fucking scumbag.
Have you
Yeah.
ever heard the story about what he tried to do to his grandkid?
He tried to force his daughter to have
He
an abortion.
tried to force his daughter-in-law, or
Daughter-in-law.
yeah,
Yeah.
to get an abortion, was like, and was there's like receipts of him being genuinely pissed off when she didn't take the money to go abort his grandkid.
Yeah. Like Alec Baldwin level of
Yeah,
psychopath there.
it's so to me personally, that's one of the most offensive things. Like, if you believe, you know, politically in a woman's right to choose, that woman told you she's not doing it, so berating her to try to at that point murder her child, terrible, terrible thing. Because I think even people who agree on who think that being pro-choice is the right way to go should understand and agree that if the woman has decided that she's keeping the baby, trying to do that is a pretty hateful and
No, no,
terrible
no,
thing.
no, no. Little Chad,
Well,
it's a woman's right to choose what we tell you to choose.
Yeah.
imagine being that kid and finding out later in life that grandpa was full on trying to force your mother into having you killed.
I mean, I
Grandpa
think
wanted you dead.
now, you know what? I take it back. I really understand The Last Jedi now, because it was the Ben Solo origin story. Mark
Mm.
Hamill, they listened to what happened and they're like, "Hey Mark, we think that Luke would just be doing like a 74th trimester abortion." So-
Fucking South Park.
yeah, so I think Gina Carano has a very solid case to at least get to discovery, and God help Disney if she gets there, because man, when I feel like, you remember when those Sony emails came out and you found out how crazy, um, like Amy, Pascal was, and coming up with these stupid Spider-Man spin-offs, which Madam Web was one of them, by the way, which is coming out.
Dude,
And
I wanted to
Well,
get to Discovery just to embarrass Kathleen Kennedy. Like, she's a grade A scumbag too, and I would just love for her to have more embarrassment heaped on.
well, I mean, it's pretty much automatically going to get the Discovery, I think, as long as she doesn't take a settlement. And this isn't about the money for Gina. This is
She will
about
never take a
clearing her
settlement.
name. This, like I was saying on Thursday Night Throwdown last night, this actually is very much like the Depp Heard thing because it's literally about one person trying to clear their name.
Yeah,
And
So
like I said,
she will
she'll
not
never
take
take
the
a
settlement.
settlement.
The reason that they're asking for 75,000 is because that's the threshold to get it to go
to the
federal.
federal court. Yep. And also, what's great is California has televised courtrooms, much like Virginia did for the Depp Heard trial.
Oh,
Right.
So
lovely.
if it goes to court, that I mean, we would get to see KK testifying.
I'd rather watch that than an earnings call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing to think about with Elon being a part of this, remember just a few weeks ago, he was hanging out with Peltz talking about, well, what should I invest in next? Wink, wink. And he just told Bob to go F himself. So
The problem I
this
have
is
with
a part of a pronged attack from Elon on
Yeah.
Disney.
Now, here's the thing, though. I think people need to be realistic about how liquid Elon Musk is at the moment. And I think Elon Musk is doing great things with Twitter. I know that there's a lot of suspicion when he bought it. I think um, on the totality of things, if you've been on Twitter for years, you can see that it's better than
Yeah.
it's been, especially in terms of being even-handed. But Elon Musk leveraged himself to a great deal to make the purchase of Twitter. You have to
Right.
understand that he also now just got butt raped by the Delaware Chancery Court, where they completely wrongly and what it will end up probably being ruled illegally, voided his compensation package with Tesla from 2017, where he had earned $56 billion in stock as a result of getting Tesla to hit thresholds that at the time in 2017 financial analysts said were retardedly stupid and would never happen, and then he got it there. And so a single shareholder who bought in like last year sued over that compensation package, even though it had been approved by the board and approved by the stockholders in 2017. And he
Yep.
got and because of politics, the judge in the case voided his compensation package. So again, eventually that'll probably be overturned on appeal, but in the meantime, it's now on hold. You can't just use that money because it has to go into a holding account. For people who've bought houses, it's the equivalent of like escrow, where it has to sit there until this gets worked out.
Right.
He doesn't have funds to just, I know people are like, he'll just buy Disney. He's not in that position. He could
No,
buy
he's
No,
not.
but
shares.
he may be maneuvering other people to be in that position.
Right. Just like Perlmutter joined in with Peltz, Elon may have plenty of investors that will say, yeah, we're going to throw in as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is basically what Elon said.
You called down the thunder, well now you got it.
I love that one. All right, but so moving on to another fun lawsuit. Had you seen this story, Brahma?
No.
All right, so the
I
FTC.
honestly thought you had old news. I'm shocked that this is coming back around because they
No,
tried this last year.
No, so the FTC is going back to court to try to undo the merger of Activision and Blizzard because as part of the agreement to allow the merger to go through, Microsoft had promised to not lay off Blizzard employees because when they said that they were doing this purchase, they made the agreement that Activision Blizzard will basically function as a separate company. We don't intend to let anyone go because there's not any redundancies. And then immediately they turned around and laid off like a ton of Activision Blizzard because they wanted to quote unquote eliminate redundancy.
Right, but
So
originally wasn't the goal to prevent this merger due to antitrust because they said that it would create a monopoly?
no, the European it was one of the European Union ones that tried to stop it. So the
Yeah,
FTC,
like
here
this
we go.
isn't a monopoly of any kind. I don't understand what the problem with this merger even is.
Right.
So the FTC lawyers state Microsoft contradicted multiple claims prior to the merger, including the need for layoffs as well as keeping Activision Blizzard operating independently. So they're attempting to halt or reverse the merger despite it being completed in 2023 in October. And it's not unprecedented. The FTC has done this before where they have retroactively canceled mergers when people have broken the agreements.
You know what? You know who suffers the most if this merger gets reversed, though?
Who's that?
Blizzard.
Bride of Slender because she's playing World of Warcraft.
Oh my god, I don't. Here's the thing, right? I don't know why she's playing it. It's just pissing her off again.
It has a way of doing that.
Like we used to play it back in the day, and we were deep into it all the way up through Wrath of the Lich King. But then I started to fall off, and I was like, it's not fun. It
Oh,
feels
hold
So
like
I
a
played it
damn
up through
job.
Deathwing, whatever the
Hold on.
one with Deathwing,
Oh, hold on,
Dragonflight,
hold
or
on.
Hold on, Bride of Slender
Bride of
has
Slender.
my vote.
Shut it!
shut it, id pants no. See, this seems like crap though, because I think of it like the contract has already been concluded.
Yeah.
So I don't see how you can go back and then say, well, never mind, you can't do that. It's kind of like if I go get a loan for a house and they ask you that question, are you planning on making this your primary residence or renting it out? And you say, I'm going to make it my primary residence. And then a week after you get the house, you decide, nope, I'm going to rent it out. They can't do anything at that point. The bank can't, even though they still have your loan. But it seems like crap that the FTC can just void a merger on the back end of it
Here's
because
the
of
grounds
something that they can't necessarily say. I mean, the employees could have been absolute crap, and they find that out, and what, you're not allowed to get rid of crappy
They
employees?
were. I mean, this is Blizzard we're talking about. They were
I know.
absolute crap.
The only thing is that this merger was allowed through because Phil Spencer, who runs the Xbox division, said specifically that we are not going to cut people's jobs. We're not going to do any of this other stuff because remember, Sony was trying to get this to keep this from happening.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like Microsoft is losing in the console wars to Sony, even though I think the Xbox is the better thing. But I don't know if you heard this, right? But like Xbox is going away.
Yeah, they're gonna
like Sony has won. Sony has always had the better exclusives and more exclusives than Microsoft. Unless you.
But that's also
Halo,
because at this point you might as well just get a PC to play the Xbox games.
That's where Microsoft
they don't
is going.
cost that much different.
Microsoft has already said they're not making another console.
Yeah,
they're gonna just go.
But how is it that Microsoft can make moves to try and get some more exclusives? And it's a problem when Sony has more exclusives than Microsoft has ever had.
Which it doesn't feel like, because it doesn't seem like anything comes out for the PS5 that's exclusive.
well, yeah, but if you look at the PS4, they had
God of War.
Well, yeah, back in the day,
Spider-Man is a Sony
Square
exclusive
Enix
game.
Titles, like everything was coming out on the PlayStation.
I mean, everything Naughty Dog. I mean, Last of Us before it went, 4 with Abby.
Yeah, it just feels like my PS5 is a brick because there's nothing I can play exclusively on it that I can't get on PC at this point.
I don't know why you picked up
nothing
PS5
good, I
place.
guess.
I mean,
because I've been with PS since the beginning, and I've also had Xbox since the beginning. So
look, I was a PlayStation guy from day one as well, and I have an Xbox Series X sitting here because Verizon gave it to me free. So,
like I said,
yes, we know how
I was originally a PlayStation stan as well, but when I was having problems with Force Unleashed, I found out that same game just controlled a hell of a lot better on the Xbox, and so I moved over.
See, for me, I've had both. I'm not more for one or the other. I just play everything on PC now. I mean, because since I started streaming, I bought a much nicer PC, and it's just a hell of a lot easier to to play
No,
everything on the PC.
I'm the same way at this point. It's like if I can get it on PC, why would I get it on a console? It's only the things that you can only get on a console that I even concern myself with. I don't
Right.
have a PS5. I don't have whatever the newest Xbox is. I've got what is it? A One
Xbox
X.
One.
Yeah, I've got one of those.
And yes, Soul Assassin, I did go to midnight releases for many, many things,
Yep. The only
including consoles.
I'm trying to think of the last midnight release I went to was probably GTA Vice City.
I mean,
I think mine was Rock Band.
oh,
Vice
Rock
City,
Band was fun.
man,
Rock
Vice
Band
City
was
was
so
so
much
good.
fun.
Well, talk about a one where they killed the golden goose. Like we had to make Rock Band like you're making new. You can just make the downloadable new songs. You don't need to keep.
But that's what they have been
releasing.
doing. This year is when they stop finally releasing DLC. I think it just
Yeah.
happened like a month or two ago. They've been releasing DLC this whole time. The
Yeah.
problem
You
is nobody
serious?
can find the peripherals to play this stupid thing anymore. I mean, that era of gaming is going to be one of my favorites when I look back on it. And it's almost impossible to recreate because the peripherals are so hard to get a hold of and actually make function with today's technology. But
I
the
swear.
the Guitar Hero Rock Band days, those were fantastic. That was the best party game ever made.
Dude, we used to get together, like me and my buddies in the Navy. We used to get together. We had the stupid fucking wigs. We had a fog machine. we would
I had
do
a
like
I had a
whole
feather boa
concerts
on
in
the
the living
microphone
room.
stand like Steven
Yeah.
Tyler.
Yeah.
I mean,
I swear
it was.
I was
Go ahead.
I was gonna say the sense of accomplishment I felt, and it was on Guitar Hero when I beat
Through the fire and the flames.
Dragon Force, and I did it on hard, not expert, but just managed
Yeah.
to do it on hard because my wife watched me play. Like it was for like 2 hours where I kept trying. I was like, I am fucking beating this thing. I am not
Dude,
gonna
but-
let it beat me.
And the beginning
Before-
wasn't the hard part. You had to go
No.
through the first like 8 minutes to get to where you actually fail.
Oh, like the do. Oh man,
Yeah.
when it got to that, and then you're tired because it wears you out just stamina wise. You're just going.
Oh, yeah.
When I beat it, I was just like, this is the greatest thing I've ever done in gaming.
Early on in Guitar Hero, before the Bride of Slender was the Bride of Slender, she was playing Guitar Hero with us, and we were playing, competitive. Basically, if you won the battle, you got to stay up. If you lost the battle, you went back to the couch, right? And she gets up there against me, and she picks Infected. And I'm like, oh, you're gonna pick my favorite song on this one. Oh, okay, let's do this. And I wasn't even looking. I played behind my head at one point, and she was so pissed.
Go ahead, bro.
Oh, I was just gonna say with Rock Band, I did finally get my kids into it a few years back. Well, and actually a little bit during COVID because it was like, okay, what are we gonna do since we're all stuck here in the house?
Yeah.
But so we had, it's Rock Band. We've got the drum set, we've got the 2 guitars and the singing. Right? Nobody wants to sing, so I become the singer, even though I can't sing worth crap. I'm playing the guitar. My wife is playing the bass, and the youngest didn't want to do any of it. And the oldest is playing the drums, but she can't figure out, how to do hands and feet at the same time. So like she
Dude, the
doesn't
drums
ever
are
hit
the
the bass
hardest
pedal.
part in that game.
Right. So what I'm doing
Because you
though,
also don't get the feedback of real drums. So,
Right.
especially if you're a drummer, it just feels fucking weird trying to play those things.
But I'm a
But
drummer.
the way we played was I would sit next to the drum set and we moved the foot pedal over near me. I'm playing guitar on expert, singing, and doing the drum pedal for all of the songs. So I'm doing 3 of the parts, and like she's just hitting the drums. My wife is doing the bass, and on most of the songs, the bass is much more basic than the guitar part. But yeah, we used
Unless
to
there's
have
a
so much
solo,
fun with
yeah.
that. Yeah, we had so much fun with that because it was like, okay, well, I mean, we can't play it normally because you guys just don't have the skill level to do it, but I can make this work. I can do the bass, drum, and the guitar and sing it because I already knew all the songs and stuff. I mean, I had played through them so many times back in the day that it was like, no, I know the words even on songs I don't like. I know all the parts. Let's do this. And that was a fun thing to do with the family.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was good times. I always think of because it's funny 'cause my wife brought up the other day. It might be time for us to do our watch of Couples Retreat, which is a very underrated movie. And I think of Vince Vaughn playing
Dude, I
Guitar
watched it a
Hero
month ago.
when he's doing the Guitar
Is that the
Hero.
Aniston one?
No, this is the one
No.
with Vince Vaughn
Vince
and
Vaughn and his crew. And he's one of the developers for Guitar Hero or some crap.
I don't think I've seen that.
you've never seen
Oh
Couples
my
Retreat?
god,
It's
we're
one.
watching it after this.
Yeah, that's the one we're watching.
No, we're not. We're
'cause-
playing games. You know that.
Oh,
What games? Nobody's here to play the fucking games.
Oh, Matt will be ready to go.
And part of
In
me
another
is
hour.
getting really sidetracked, Brahma, because Armored Core Fires of Rubicon is 30% off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only
Well, and we're about to get
$41
Elden
right
Ring
now.
DLC in the next month or so.
I know. It's a good time to be alive.
Well, I guess there are 2 good games out.
How dare you? I'm enjoying Pal World immensely.
yeah,
and
we haven't played that one
honestly,
yet.
I'm thinking about if nobody's using the Conan server, I'm thinking about spinning up my other server as an Enshrouded server.
Yeah.
You wanted to do Enshrouded, right, Brahma?
Oh no, I just asked you guys if you had seen it yet because it looks a lot like Conan.
It looks okay.
I'll talk to Shags. I know he's played it. We'll see what he thinks on it because I don't think he was all that impressed.
That's the thing. I haven't seen anything that sold me on it, you know?
Well, I think Conan did most of it better as far as the building and everything, but it's supposed to play the combat's supposed to be like Dark Souls style. So, I mean, it
Yeah.
depends on if they got the combat right and whether it's worth doing the combat. Because in Conan, yes, we did the combat, but it wasn't really what we were doing. We were creating ridiculous bases, and I was becoming an overpowered
Well, the
human
problem with
sacrificing
Conan-
mage.
the problem with Conan is there's just not a whole lot to do.
Right. Yeah,
Like
the
honestly,
story
there's
of
only
the
3 or 4 dungeons, really, and that kind of all suck. Like one of them's pretty good, but the other ones all suck.
Yeah, and even going to the big city in the center with all the bosses there wasn't that hard.
No, and that's the thing is the biggest issue I've always had with Conan is there's not enough going on. Like there's a solid gameplay loop, I'll give it that, but like what's the end game? You know, like, it doesn't feel like there is one really.
Yeah. What is good in life?
Yeah,
Or what is
is
best
good
in life?
Yeah, what's best in life? Apparently, just doing the same shit all day, every day.
Crush your enemies
see
and
Revenant
sacrifice
before
a whole bunch of naked virgins, apparently, because that's
Yes.
all I did in the game.
You gotta get
then
rid of
see the
that,
naked versions driven before you and hear the lamentation of your
So the-
thralls.
The lamentations of the women.
No, of your
Below you.
thralls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
unpaid interns. You didn't.
I
hear
mean,
me say
Enshrouded,
that.
I think, is still just in it's in a testing access, right? So, I mean,
It's still early access.
we can keep an eye on it, but I don't
Yeah.
know that it's going to be something that'll last more than a couple weeks for us if we do it. Party Animals, I'm surprised has lasted as long as it has, but everybody seems to still be having fun with it. So,
Yeah, I'm just saying I've got 10 more slots on like I've got a Pal World server up and running, but I've got 10 more slots that are being used for a Conan server that I don't know that anyone's even playing. So
yeah, I don't think Jane Theory is even logging into it anymore.
Yeah.
no,
And I know
I-
Sporking isn't.
yeah, I jumped in a while back and I
don't think he
mean,
did. He figure out how to. I think we got him.
Sporking played
right?
one fucking time.
I think he played twice. It was like 2 days in a row for like an hour, something like that. And that second day is the day we all showed up, and then I scared the crap out of him
Well, the
with my
first day he
spells.
wasn't even on a server. He was just playing the game by himself.
Right. Yep.
So I think he only
Which
spent
was
one day on the
scary.
server and never came back.
Yep.
Yep. All right, now that Slender, you're probably due for a smoke break because
Oh, are you bringing up sports now?
it is the Super Bowl weekend.
Oh
And
God, yeah, you guys have
And
fun.
Chad's the only person who watches football.
Yep.
yeah, I was hoping Mad
Have
would
fun,
be here for this
Brahma.
one.
Well,
I
I
mean,
can still
we
talk about it. I watch football every week for how many decades of my life? So
yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna. So my bold prediction is the Chiefs are going to lose to the 49ers by around 10 points.
and
And
then she's gonna break up with Kelsey because he's a loser.
no, I think she's in this through at least the election, so they can. All right, I'm not gonna. Don't want to get conspiracy theoried too much, but I may come down on the hardcore version that this is a major psyop and that that is a confluence of alignment for PR purposes. But the reason I'm gonna say that they are going to lose is because Patrick Mahomes is married to an ethot wannabe named Brittany
Right.
Mahomes. And this came out this week that she is going to, she, without him even knowing, went down and posed for the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, apparently surprising him that it was happening. And this girl is as desperate, like, she is a desperate fame whore.
Yeah.
So, I feel like there's just a confluence where Patrick Mahomes is the key person for the Kansas City Chiefs, and his dad was in a drunk driving arrest like
His
earlier in the
third one
his
that
third
is
one.
felony that he should be doing 10 years for.
Exactly. His brother is all over the place with getting into trouble and shooting his mouth off. Brittany Mahomes here is has latched on to Taylor Swift to try to launch her e-thought career. I was talking to some dudes in my fantasy football chat, and I was like, in 10 years, she's going to be on a housewives show of some sort,
Oh yeah.
and either dragging Patrick Mahomes with her while she's doing it, unless he has the good sense to divorce her before it gets to that point. So,
And
but
yeah, she's like the cheaper, not quite as good looking version of Jesse James Decker.
yeah, and
Eric Decker's wife that was also an Instagram influencer and all that crap.
yeah,
Or
and
was she a country star? I can't remember.
I
I think she was just an Instagram influencer.
they all want to be an influencer now. It's
Yeah, I mean, like us. We're
you,
highly influential to
yeah,
10 or 12 people.
you can tell from the effort. Like that's one of the great things about our crew. We're all like we enjoy doing hanging out with everybody, but we are making
High
no
effort, low yield.
It's like I would more like we're kind of high yield, low effort. I think for the amount of effort we put in, we pull off pretty good numbers. Like, I've seen people who put a lot of effort in who get a lot less numbers. So, I mean, not as bad. I mean, speak of the devil, I would think Mad would pop up around here. He's he's a real good example of really
Oh, he will
good.
not pop up if you've got this chick on the screen. I mean, he hates chicks in bikinis.
I just think it's hilarious that this is like Super Bowl week. She decided like when the guy needs to focus when he's the San Francisco 49ers are not a slouch team. They match up, I think, very well against Kansas City because they have a strong running game and Kansas City's defense is weak at stopping the run. They have Christian McCaffrey, they got Debo Samuel who can run the ball really well. And I think they're going to end up being comfortably up and eventually might get cut down to 10 by the end, but they're going to win. Maybe 10 to 14 even. The Super Bowls are
I
not normally close. So
I'm going to go with the conspiracy theory side of it and say the NFL really wants Taylor Swift. So I don't think they will let the 49ers win either way. I think there will be phantom calls. I think there will be really crappy calls. Remember, in the NFL, you can call a holding penalty on every single play in the game. So anytime there's going to be a big play
yeah,
busting, boom,
man,
flag.
John Madden really drove that home when I used to play that video game. That was
Oh,
like
yeah.
every
Well, you
third
can
play
call holding
call of
on any
every
given play in the
play.
NFL. Boom.
Boom. Yeah. I don't know. I think you don't think the Brock Purdy story is going to be something they want to get out there. Think about that. The very last pick in the NFL draft ends up winning the Super Bowl. I feel like that one. You know, the NFL is, pardon the expression, ridden Taylor Swift as far as she's going to take them right now.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, when I really realized how rigged it was the who was it? The Falcons versus
The
Patriots Super
Patriots.
Bowl. Yeah,
No,
I was
that's
in
just
Vegas at the time.
that's
Halftime, it's what 28-0,
28 to
and
3.
then yeah, 28-3, and then you I'm sitting there looking at the lines in Vegas because they're legally allowed to bet at that point. I don't think all the online, well, there was online, but it hadn't been fully nationalized kind of where it is now.
Yep.
But they got that to go exactly to like the line on that game. And no way. I mean, there's no way that 28-3 gets turned around like that in a Super Bowl.
It
I've
is
seen
the
it happen
Falcons.
against Philip Rivers with Peyton Manning and the Broncos when Rivers, I think they had a 27-3 or 27-0 or 28-0 lead over the Broncos at halftime. And Peyton Manning let it come back all the way, but that was just a game. That wasn't the Super Bowl. I don't know. I don't trust the NFL.
Yeah, there is a reckoning that they're going to have to come into with the gambling part, because now that gambling's super legal all over the place, it's too easy for players to make a lot of money. And we've talked about this on the show when we brought up the game, like sports.
Yeah.
Now that, I mean, and the leagues are all knee deep in with gambling, and it's crazy because it's
Yeah. And how
because
do you still keep Pete Rose out of the Hall of Fame while you
yes,
got
exactly.
players wearing gambling website advertisements on their freaking jerseys at this point? Come on.
No, the Giants did not have a big Super Bowl comeback in the early 90s. That was when they remember, they were gonna on the verge. I'm a Giants fan, so I remember it was
When
against
David
the
Tyree,
no, all right, this is
no,
all right.
different one.
Early 90s was Bronco. It was not was Buffalo Bills. It was the first of the Buffalo Bills Super Bowl
Yeah.
losses. That
The
was the one where
Cowboys
they
and
lost.
Bills over
Yeah,
and over and over.
so it was the NFC East beat the Bills 4 consecutive years. It went Giants, Redskins, now known as the Commanders,
And then
Cowboys,
Cowboys,
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Yeah. So the
And then the
Giants,
Cowboys won the next one after that,
yeah.
but not with the Bills,
No,
right?
no, the Cowboys weren't in the Super Bowl the year after that because Jerry Jones quit. The Cowboys won again in '96.
Oh, I thought they
Uh,
three-peated.
no, they won
It's 3 out of
three, and
4.
yeah, because Jerry Jones got fired by, not Jerry Jones, Jimmy Johnson got fired by Jerry Jones, and
Yeah,
they brought in Barry Switzer. The 49ers won the next Super Bowl against the Chargers. You remember that blowout where the
yeah,
49ers just absolutely destroyed the Chargers? That was the one where Deion Sanders won consecutive Super Bowls because he was on the 49ers. Then he left and went to the Cowboys.
yeah.
And yeah, anyway, so prime time over there. And then
Now he's in Colorado.
yeah, the Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl since. This might get mad on talking about that. The
It is true.
but yeah, the Giants. Back to this part, the Giants actually won by 2 points because the Bills missed a field goal, a 36-yard field goal in the last seconds, wide right. This was a field goal that was within the kicker's range, and he missed it wide right. And the Giants won. That was the Super Bowl during the Gulf War. That was the one where Whitney Houston famously did the national anthem. Probably the best known national anthem rendition ever sang at a Super Bowl. You might even remember that, right? Yeah, it was pretty popular. So
Which one?
yeah, Whitney Houston.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yes. So that
It
was like
was it was
regarded as
second only to Roseanne Barr's singing of
oh
the national
that
anthem.
yeah. The FanDuel ad is on repeat on the radio. FanDuel or DraftKings, they all sponsor the pregame shows. Like Brahma said, with baseball, the idea of keeping pre rows out now when you've sold out your soul for gambling is there's no point. You should be putting
It's
in
asinine.
whatever Pete Rose did was when he was a manager. So you can argue, and I would argue, that Pete Rose's play as a player, which was guaranteed first ballot Hall of Famer, he was the all-time
Johnny
hits
Hustle,
leader,
one of the
Johnny.
best ever.
Yeah, so he was on the field. He didn't take performance enhancing drugs. He didn't do any of the stuff on the field as a player. He should be in as a player. It's, that's a given. I think
Yeah,
what they're gonna do is probably wait till he dies and then let him go in posthumously so that
and that'll be crap.
he will have served effectively a lifetime ban.
Well,
Let's see.
that'll turn a lot of people off on the MLB.
Yeah, Soul Assassin says I remember the Prince halftime show and the Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction. Yeah, I watched it live. That was one of the first years after I'd gotten a TiVo in my house with my family, and we 100% was like, did she just show her boob? Like, and I rewound real quick, and later there was a news article like the most rewound moment in TiVo history was
Right.
like people like, did that actually just happen? And I
Like
was
you
like,
couldn't go find her boobs somewhere else too. I mean,
well, the
she
funny
wasn't the
thing,
most modest of people.
no, but that was 100% planned. I loved when they said it was
Oh
a
yeah.
wardrobe malfunction, but it was like BS. It happened exactly when Timberlake said, "I'll have you naked by the end of this song," and she had like a nipple
It was
decoration.
a Velcro cover on her
Yeah,
boob. I
yeah.
mean,
So
we all, and he's even admitted it since. Yeah.
yeah,
It was all planned.
it was all planned. It was planned. Uh, Let me take that off the screen so that Mad might show up again when there's not female body parts showing.
Yeah.
So
I
did you were you able to check out any movies? You didn't by chance see Argyle, did you?
No, I haven't gotten to see Argyle, and from what I've heard, I don't know that I want to, even though I was really looking forward to it.
I liked it.
But
I liked
Sam
it. I thought it was
Rockwell
good.
is one of my favorites,
Then
one of
you'll
my
like it
favorite
a
actors
lot.
in everything.
It's
So,
I think people are hating on it unnecessarily.
yeah,
Me and Slender were talking about it. Sometimes it feels like in our corner of this YouTube sphere,
we find
people
reasons to find woke.
find reasons to like hate it. I'm like, look, just get like they're getting on the fact that Bryce Dallas Howard like has some actions. I was like, did you watch Kingsman? He made Colin Firth look like an action star. That's one of Matthew Vaughn's like trademarks, right? Is
Yeah, but Colin
doing
Firth wasn't an overweight chick.
yeah.
Listen,
Look,
as the guy who on more than one occasion has tilted at some windmills, uh, I feel like there might be some tilting at windmills going on right now.
Well, and I've always been pretty honest with um my reviews on things. I still think I want to see it because of Rockwell. But I mean, like there weren't a lot of people saying that John Wick 4 was as bad as I said it was. I mean, there were people, but not many. I mean,
I think
I don't look for the woke in things, especially in something like this where it really feels like that not knowing the story completely, it really feels like this was like a housewives book that is being converted to a movie where the housewife, is taken into this world, kind of like True Lies, where
yes.
suddenly, oh yeah, now I'm going to be a part of this crazy world. And
Yeah, but I love True Lies.
I
I
love
love
True
True
Lies.
Lies as well,
Did you
but
ever
that was
see
a different
Did you
time.
see The Long Kiss Goodnight
No,
with all right,
Once upon a time, I did.
if you've seen Long Kiss Goodnight, it's got some similarities to that vibe. And I really liked that one. That was with Gina Davis, where it's a good one from the '90s. if you've ever seen Romancing the Stone, where you've got Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner, where she's the romance novel writer,
Right.
you know,
I mean,
it's
it
kind
seems
of
like a housewives fantasy coming true kind of
yeah,
story, right?
and it's delivered well. The action scenes are fine. If you go in and you just want to have, it's a throwback, and this is one of the things I try to, and I think me and Slender talked about it, was there was a time where you had mid-range action movies where you just went in, had a silly good time. It was like a 6 or a 7, and you just left, and it was fine. You
Yeah, they
didn't
were
have
called
to like,
Christopher Lambert movies.
oh yeah. I mean, if the Highlander sequels, although I will say that one where it was him and Adrian Paul was actually pretty
In
good.
game.
I liked that
Yeah,
one a
because
lot.
I loved the series and I
Yeah,
liked how they kind of did that, even
Highlander
though
the series was awesome.
I love the
Yeah.
series. I
I
loved Adrian Paul's McLeod as well. I mean, I thought that was so every Thursday night locally, it was either you'd either get Highlander, Time Cop, or Renegade with Lorenzo Lamas.
Oh,
So
Renegade.
I was
I didn't.
always up for the for the Highlander,
Was
nights.
it Time Cop or was it Time Tracks?
Maybe it was Time Tracks. I
The
can't
one where the
remember. It
guy was
was
trying to send fugitives back to the future.
that could have been it. Yeah. I
No,
mean,
that's
it was
Back to
one of
the
those
Future, man.
it was one of those crappy, somewhat well produced, but B acting TV shows. But
Yeah,
it's
I
same as Renegade and all that stuff. It was just kind of cheesy, but
there was also
Highlander
the
was
one
so good.
that was it was the same like syndication group that did you
Yeah,
remember William Shatner had that like book series that he was
Tech
having
Wars.
made, yeah, Tech Wars, where they made the TV movies out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here's the thing, right? I actually fully agree with Soul Assassin on this.
Mm-hmm.
And here's how I rate it, right? Like, I assume there's going to be some degree of woke in almost every fucking movie or show that I watch nowadays, right? Like, that's just kind of a given. The question is it implemented in such a way that it breaks my immersion? You
Right. Is
know,
it part of the story or is the story written just to get to the woke?
like the example where, and I mean, we disagree on movies and shows all the time, so I'm going to go to an example where we disagree.
The Continental?
The Continental, when she's fighting all those dudes in the back of the fucking El Camino, like that broke my immersion. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, why are they not kicking the ever loving shit out of this girl? Like,
And I
that
didn't have
pissed me
too
off.
big of a problem with it because, yes, even though she's beating up a ton of guys, they at least had, she wasn't like a Mary Sue who had no training. She was at least a trained fighter.
There was an
So
explanation
there
as
was
to
it,
why she was able to fight, but it was just like,
right.
why is
And
she able
at
to
that
fight so
point, then
much
you
better
have
than
to,
these guys who presumably also know how to fight?
right. Which that's where you have to suspend belief a little bit. I mean, but it's not
Well,
the
I'm
same as say Ray and the Mary Sue type stuff
no,
where it's just like
it's nothing
suddenly
like
I can
that.
do whatever without any training. At least there was a reason she should be able to fight. Is it
The other
realistic?
thing
Not necessarily.
the other thing that broke my immersion, and this had nothing to do with anything woke, was just their complete lack of understanding on how explosives work in the third
The
episode, where
grenades.
they're sending grenades through the fucking mail tubes, and I'm just like, no, no, that would not work.
Right, but it was fun.
It was fun, but it was killing me. And then the C4 thing with the girl who like had the C4 vest and she detonated it, and the other girl is standing like 3 feet away from her in a water fountain. And apparently, the fact that they were in the water somehow protected her from the detonation. I'm like, no, nope. I'm sorry, the water don't work that way.
Right, but we didn't necessarily call it, you weren't necessarily calling that bad because it was woke. You just had issues with very
No,
specific things about it. It wasn't
the only
saying
woke
the
issues I
Continental is
had
woke and
were
I'm done with it,
no, and I still liked a lot of the like I loved the first episode. I just hated the El Camino scene, and I didn't like the scene where the one girl smashed the guy's hand in the file cabinet and he just took it like a bitch. I was like, dude, Like, come on, man. Fucking
Yeah.
beat the shit out of this bitch.
But even with the El Camino scene, you wouldn't necessarily call that woke because it wasn't. I mean, she did have training. What it was unrealistic, not woke,
Yeah, I'll give you
right?
that. I would say that it was
Woke would be a
unrealistic.
completely different thing where a 5'2", 98-pound chick who's never been trained in any kind of fighting is beating up 10 guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
woke
she
is
This
picked up
Ruby
her
there's at
white
Rose.
least
belt before
story
she
to
went
go
there.
with it.
Yeah,
Right.
woke is
Yeah.
Ruby Rose and Batwoman. That's where.
Oh boy. But yeah, there are degrees of it. But like I said,
Yeah.
does it reach the level of immersion breaking for me? And I don't know. There was nothing I've seen of the footage of Argyle that I've watched that said to me this is immersion breaking. You know, like I don't know. It looked okay to me, and I like
Well,
stories that don't necessarily go through the same formula as all the others. And so
I
that's
think
another
most people would
question.
have been.
Go ahead.
I think most people would have been more fine with it from what I'm hearing if it wasn't a overweight Bryce Dallas Howard doing
She's
these
not
stunts.
okay. She's number one. She's thick. She's
She's
not like
gotten
fat.
a bit heavy. Not fat, but she's
I
carrying some weight on her.
I like Bryce Dallas Howard. I think
We
she
noticed it in
But
Jurassic
based
World
on what I know
also.
of the story, isn't
she's
that
got a
kind of the
nice,
point?
you
She's
know.
supposed to be like a frumpy middle-aged writer lady.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they do all, and they make a point in it. If we just spoiler cast, they do put, movies show don't tell. There's visual clues where they show that she's managing to be still physically capable when that happens later.
Well, and that's another thing, right? Like I'm kind of okay with that because
See,
I
Veronica
mean,
Horizon gets it.
yeah, but like I'm in my 40s, right? I am
If
not
I'm going to
as
go with a redhead thick chick, it's going to be Christina Hendricks, not Bryce
I'm
Dallas.
not in the shape I was in when I
Depends
was
on
in
which
my
end you want to
20s.
use. No, I'm kidding.
But that doesn't mean that I can't, like, the training's still there. I can still do a lot of the same shit. I'm just,
There's a
I'm not at
muscle memory.
100%
Yeah.
anymore.
I'll have to see it to actually make a decision on it. I think that's what most people have complained about, though, from what I've seen of reviews.
Yeah. So I know, and I think a lot of people are you get a lot of engagement when you don't like things, and it's
Yeah.
less engaging.
Yeah, we've
when
talked
you're-
about that
yeah.
before.
And
Well, and it's hard to talk about
yeah.
things you like because you don't want to give it away. You want people to go see it. So
exactly, and
it's a lot easier to talk about things you don't like because you don't care if anybody sees it.
if
You don't
Well,
mind
and
spoiling
speaking
something
of
you don't
which-
like because you don't want people to go see it.
Speaking of which, let's talk about something positive real quick out of left field. Brahma, you won't give a shit, but Lil Chad. I
Yes,
think
sir.
I am officially going to become a zealot of It's a Gundam. Did you see his video?
The YouTuber?
yeah.
Yeah.
Which,
It's a Gundam's fantastic.
Yeah, I
It's a
love this.
Gundam.
Yeah, but very
Dun, dun,
specifically, he made
dun.
a video titled Hollywood is Dead, Watch Anime Instead, where he spent 20 minutes talking about how Freerin is the greatest thing that's been made in years.
Yeah, now you're at the part where I don't give a crap. I like
See?
It's a Gundam, but
Yeah, well, when he started talking about Freerin, which is my favorite anime right now, he got my attention. And I watch Gundam all the time, but like
So you got to understand, Brahma. Slender's number one seed is Slice of Life Elf Girl.
yeah. Oh
And
fuck yeah.
Free Rent is that scratching that itch 100% for him.
none of what you just said has any meaning to me. Just so
checks
we're
all
on
the
the same
boxes,
page.
okay?
See, Copied Kitty's right there with you, Slender. That was an excellent video.
It
And then
was amazing.
Emperors,
Made me
is you
happy.
weren't already. Yeah, I watch It's a Gundam videos every time they come on.
Copied Kitty's pulling double duty right now because Copied Kitty just liked one of my tweets too a couple seconds ago.
That's just commitment.
That's
Yeah.
what we call multitasking.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like me being on here pretending to actually be a part of the show while tweeting out stuff.
I mean, I mean, look,
It's better than Slender playing video games while we're doing streams.
you got Vertical Horizons over here. Watch out, Brahma doesn't speak fluent weeb.
Yes, I am not a weebologist.
No.
We'll get you educated one day.
How'd you? By the way, Brahma, did you
No.
check out that video that I sent you of Michael Bublé at the All-Star game doing his press conference?
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
my god! I hope you're gonna
On-
cue that up.
Him
for
on
your show.
mushrooms going
Yeah.
completely nuts.
Yeah, where he's like, "This." They told me it was a microdose.
Yeah, this isn't a microdose. And then he goes on to be like, yeah, I'm not just a figurehead. I'm the best. It's gonna be awesome. Yeah, dude was messed up.
That
But
was
yes,
hilarious.
I did bookmark that. So
Copied kitty over here. It's called holding a phone while watching YouTube on TV.
good for you, copied kitty.
I watch YouTube on my TV way more than I probably should, but it's where a lot of content is.
I mean, I have YouTube, like I have the YouTube app loaded on my TV. Most of us watch YouTube more than anything else.
Yeah, I've got it on the computer, and then when I pause it, I go down to the garage, and on the 70-inch out in the garage, I just have it continue from where I just paused it from up in the office and watch it down there while I have a smoke or whatever, and then watch it on the phone on the way back up to the office. Because
one of the fun things that my wife and I have been doing with YouTube is just those like music quizzes where you have like 5 seconds to guess like an 80s or 90s song, and it's just it's a waste of time, but it's completely innocuous. You can do that with your kid in the room and not worry about what's going to come on your TV. It's just a fun little thing, and I love that it's just right there on YouTube, and I can, that's the thing about YouTube. I can flip right over from watching a potato give a press conference mistaking the border with Israel for Mexico, and then switch right over to just
that
doing
was
a
a
music
thing.
quiz. That was I mean, if I was going to give a press conference where I wanted to reassure people that I had an excellent memory,
that was the worst press
definitely.
conference in the history of presidential press conferences.
I know, it was so.
No question.
And he lied like that motherfucker. When he got up there and he was like, the difference is I had it securely locked up. Asshole, in the complaint, they have the pictures of it in cardboard boxes next to your Corvette in a garage.
The one that Hunter
okay, time
constantly
out.
took out with chicks.
Time out. As someone who has, been involved in handling of classified data, I can tell you that's not how that works.
Yeah. And by the way, Slender, do you like the idea that they gave him the pass because he's so seen like nobody else? This is where there's excellent points about where there's a two-tiered justice system, and that's what's going to break society when you feel like that's where you end up causing the schism. And when sailors, I know, what was it a couple years back where there was the guy on the nuclear submarine,
The guy who took the pictures of
he just took a
stuff.
selfie. Like,
Yep.
and it wasn't, and they said there was no intent. He just took a selfie and used it as his like image on a social media, and they put him in jail for like 2 years.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and this is exactly what the tweet I was just doing that copied kitty just liked was about. He knew that there was no way you're going to prosecute Joe Biden. I mean, sure, they're prosecuting Trump, and it is a two-tiered justice system, but he knew they weren't going to be able to prosecute Biden. So he eviscerated him in the report. That report is far more damaging than any prosecution could have been for this election.
It definitely damages his prospects of reelection.
And then
him
going on TV and proving it. I mean, basically what he did last night was go on and say, no, I'm competent. You do need to charge me, while proving that he's completely incompetent. Nothing about that worked out for Joe Biden.
If only Mexico
literally
would open its gates.
Yeah, I had to tell Mexican Iron Man that he's now Egyptian Iron Man last night.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was hilarious. He's like, they asked him one question off the script, and he just went full. I mean, was it to quote Tropic Thunder? He went full retard. You
Well,
don't
and the
think
stuff with Bo. I mean, it's like
he didn't actually?
a
You still he
well,
forgot where he got the rosary, and I definitely think he forgot what year it happened. Because
yeah,
if you've watched Biden since he's been president, he has numerous times, and they cover it up every time when he's talking to people who've lost military family members in
yep,
whatever incident his government has caused lately. He always talks about how he lost Bo in Iraq. That guy died of
or
brain cancer.
Afghanistan, or
He,
any other war
yeah,
that's happened in the
he
past
died
20
of
years,
brain cancer
like
in
4 years after he was
yeah,
discharged.
in
Well,
the United States.
and the circling back to the same lies that have been disproven 4 and 5 times. What was he talking about? Trump. He called them liars and sucker or losers and suckers. I'm like, we already
Right.
know that never happened. That's been
Yep.
proven, like beyond a shadow of a doubt. That was never said. Um, but you just go back to it every fucking time. You just go back to the
You say it
same
enough times, it
bullshit.
becomes the truth. But I mean, the thing that like he was like, how dare he ask me that question about Bo? It's like I can almost guarantee that during that interview, Joe brought up Bo, because every time he wants to appear sympathetic, he brings up Bo
Yes,
and
he
says Bo died this way and blah blah blah. So I can almost 100% guarantee, at least in my mind, Joe is the one who brought up Bo Biden in that interview, and the guy probably asked him follow-up questions, and Joe had no freaking clue, because he's told so many lies about how Bo died and when Bo died that I don't know that he does know anymore when Bo actually died or what he even died of.
yeah, Soul
He
Assassin.
doesn't.
He did say worse stuff. Like people forget
A
because
racial jungle.
yeah, there's that. There's the fact that he actually was running for president in 1988 and got kicked out of running because he was plagiarizing the history. Like he would get up and give speeches, and he plagiarized the
Yep.
biography of a British Labour Party member, where he was talking about this guy's, like my grandfather worked in the coal mine. It was someone from England, and
I got the black lung, Pop.
he lifted the entire backstory, and he got found out, and they kicked him out because at this time, and it's not, and people are like, oh, because the Democratic Party had scruples. Is like, no, at the time the Democratic Party thought they had Gary Hart from Colorado, who was a much better candidate. So they wanted Biden
Right.
out, and then it turned out that Gary Hart was an idiot and challenged the press to follow him around if they thought he was doing something bad, and they caught him on a boat called the Monkey Business with his mistress, and that's how you ended up with Michael Dukakis.
But
And
Biden also, I mean, he was the one that tried to derail Clarence Thomas.
yep, the digital
He
lynch
flat
mob.
out attacked a black man being put up for the Supreme Court.
How many Bidens does it take to tell a simple truth? Nobody knows because it's never been done before.
It's been done one time. It was by Ashley, and it was in her diary.
Yeah, word for word copied Kitty. Yeah, he copied the Labor Party guys. I hear the Labor Party is nutty as an outhouse. The silly thing is, the conservatives in England are going to end up getting ousted because they are dumb Fs and they went along with the net zero emissions system, and they have jacked up the electric prices and utility prices for everybody in England so bad that they're probably going to get punished for doing that stupid crap. And
Well,
we're
they brought
doing,
in a prime
yeah,
minister that's WEF.
exactly. And so it's just, it's a ridiculous. You don't do like, it's what we're doing here. The reason we have out of control inflation that's still not going down is because our energy prices, whatever other things we can try to do to get the economy back going, energy is still priced ridiculously high.
Yeah, my
So
wife was asking me today, if Trump did get in, what can he actually do that actually brings down inflation? Because once inflation is up there, isn't it up there? And I was like,
nope.
well, he could start drilling again
All you got to do
immediately
is
on
pump
day
oil.
one.
Yep.
And part of the inflation is the cost to ship things across the country, either by truck, by train, or by plane, or by ship. Oil is the lifeblood of this country, and inflation would immediately come down if we were producing our own oil again. And
Yes.
that's where
And
the president on day one can sign an executive order and make that change.
And that's
Now,
also
that's not going to
where,
necessarily affect the fast food and stuff like that, because that's the
But-
idiots bringing in the $25 an hour minimum wage.
but it actually will, Brahma, because it'll at least nominal. Remember, when you talk about, it's not, energy isn't just shipping, but it's also, it impacts every phase of a processed good. And
Right.
fast food is mainly is all processed foods. We know this. So if if you have a processed food that has to be shipped every stage of the way, and then you have to pay the electric bill to freeze it, to maintain it, to store it, the cost of that good at every phase is going up. And then you tack on the labor cost on top of it. It's, now you're right. It's not going to suddenly, with labor costs being the primary thing, if you've gotten to a state where you're now paying people $15 to $20 an hour to take your burger order, which, by the way, if you've been in McDonald's, there's nobody taking your order anymore. It's a kiosk.
Right. Or your mobile app.
And they're also introducing burger flipping robots now, and those will be out in the next 2 years. So
Yeah, that's that slippery slope we warned about, but they don't care because they know better about living wage and BS.
yeah, Emperor's over here. Speaking of, how did we end up with carbon free on our electric bills? It's about 10% added that wasn't there 2 years ago. Yeah, they're just, this is one of my main things I disagree in terms of people like thinking Elon Musk is good on everything. He's for a carbon tax, and because he thinks that will, he does believe in climate change. That's a problem. He should be smart enough to know better than that. But and so
Well, you don't agree with everybody
no, and I
100% of the
don't.
time,
But
or anybody
and
100% of the
that's,
time.
yeah, and that's why I still say net he's a good
Free
person.
speech is more important than his ideas on climate change.
Yeah.
Slender, you're going to actually have to co-host your own show with Chad for a minute. I've got to step away. I'll be right back, guys.
We've been done with sports ball for a while.
I know you've been done with sports ball. I'm just listening. I didn't have a whole lot to add.
Yeah.
Plus, we got real political, and I'm like, I don't know how much we want to talk about politics on this show.
All right, let me see here.
But I mean, I don't mind. I don't really care. I mean, I think it's funny.
Let's try one of these. Let's see.
What are you trying?
I like the music quizzes. I think they're fun. We'll try one real quick.
We're doing a music quiz?
I think you can pass. Let me just see, because I think the way they do it.
You are probably very incorrect. I don't know a whole lot about music.
All right. Politics or a free comedy show? Yeah. Russian bots took her jobs.
They took our jobs.
All right, let's see. We can do this. Share. Make that big.
Okay.
All right, so it's just 80s and 90s music, which, by the way, was great music, so we should be all right. We'll see if the stream gets taken down. I don't think it will, because these people are on YouTube, so they're doing the same thing where they clip like 7 seconds at a time so that they don't have copyright
We're
issues.
taking a chance today.
Yeah, because here's the thing. It's like, we're getting towards the end of the show, so we'll play roulette with getting the stream struck. Oh yeah, the damn knife ears took our jobs. The elves. All right, let's see. All right, you ready?
Oh, come on, little I know what a knife ear is. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I know you know. I didn't know if Brahma's usually got his headphones in and he can still listen, so just in case. All right, here, you ready? Let's try this.
What are we doing? Just doing a quiz?
Yeah, it's just a quiz. Let's see if you can guess it.
Okay.
One of the decades, the 80s versus 90s song quiz. Let the battle begin.
And what am I supposed to guess?
What the song is. Did you hear it? Did you guess what the song was?
Yeah, I have my guess.
So say it. Go
She's
for
got it.
You think
She's got it.
Venus?
Yeah, baby, but she's got it. Yeah, baby, she's got it. I'm your Venus. I'm your
The
fire.
name
What's
of
your
the song is
desire?
Venus. I had to
Yeah,
run
I don't-
upstairs
I
after
don't
you
give a
said she's
fuck
got it.
about the name of the song.
Next song. The whole point is guessing the actual name of the song.
Now I'm out of breath from running up the stairs to correct Slender. And yes, I can hear you while I'm gone.
Apparently, the bride of Slender is out of breath from yelling across the fucking room. Shut up! We're doing a show.
That was the one time I didn't hear her.
Yeah, I know. I didn't hear it that time either.
That's because I'm hot on the mute.
All right, 90s.
Fucking next. I hate this song.
Then what is it?
Okay.
I don't give a shit
it
what it is.
Flagpole
I hate
Sitter?
that fucking band.
No, it's Third Eye Blind.
Is it flag? It's not. No, okay. Semi charm kind of live.
Yeah, Emperors is dominating. He's got it twice in a row.
I had to sing it in my head.
Oh my god, I'm about to end the stream just to shut my wife up.
All right. Still a 90s one. Oh, 80s one.
A Higher Love.
What do you think? Well,
No, Brahman's
Slender?
right.
Brahman's right. He is right. All this, by the way, is evidence about how much better music used to be.
Yeah, we actually remember it.
I don't know the name of the song, but I do like that song. If you could only
You could
see
only-
the way she loves me, maybe
Yeah,
you
if
would
you could only
understand
see.
why I feel this way about our love and what I should do. Yeah, that song.
Yep.
Giving Chad a chance to catch up. Naming the song is easier than naming the band. Ooh, that would be a tougher one.
Yeah.
That's true.
On these,
Because
that's true.
naming the
Because a
band
lot of these
implies
have
that
been
I give a
one-hit
shit about
wonders.
these people.
If it's you, it's if you could only see.
By Tonic.
I would have gotten that eventually. I have
know the
no
song.
idea on
I
that
don't
one.
know the name of the song.
You
Wait,
didn't.
hold
You
on.
didn't. You didn't die in someone's.
I died
arms
in your arms
tonight.
tonight. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
must have been something you
I
said.
just died in your arms tonight.
I think this is Ambient Tina is probably loving this whole segment.
We should just close out every show with one of these.
Yeah. The Cutting Crew.
Yeah, I had
Yeah,
no
they are
idea the
just
name of the
one-hit
band.
wonder bands.
Look at this. Emperors is like no cap. He's just like, I know these things. Cutting Crew. Tina over there. Well, all right. Let's see what our next one is.
They are very short clips, though.
Yeah, they're keeping it YouTube friendly.
Nirvana, heart-shaped box.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, everybody on this panel better have an effing known this song.
I mean, Nirvana was our band. Like, that represented our generation.
Not to mention, remember the Batman
For about 2 years.
They
Well, then a
this was
shotgun
the
ended it all.
this was the song
Yeah,
that
Courtney's.
she did. She 100% murdered him, but allegedly.
I never said it was a self
100% allegedly.
Look at Tina. I greatly disliked Nirvana. Of course you did.
Yeah,
All right.
but
Do
you like
guys
Loki, so...
do you remember? And I don't know if this happened in your schools too.
I'm gonna have to put Bad Take Bojan in timeout. I never thought this day
Everybody
would
wearing
come.
the Kurt Cobain shirt.
Yeah, where all the girls suddenly showed up the next day or next week and had the Nirvana or Kurt Cobain shirts, and you're like, bitch, you
Dude,
did not
my
even know
best
who
friend's
Nirvana was.
sister My best friend's little sister always wore a Nirvana shirt and swore up and down that Kurt Cobain was her guardian spirit. And I was like, you're out of your fucking mind.
And
Well, he
and
probably was a spirit by then. So
Yeah,
Not-
well, he was. He was very much a spirit by then.
not to mention, as popular as Nirvana was prior to the shotgun, you could argue that Pearl Jam was the bigger band until that happened, because people forget that, was it 10 had the
10.
record for biggest sales when it was released, and Pearl Jam had bigger, had as many hits. They're still around, but they're the last band.
they're the only
standing from-
grunge
yeah,
band still around.
yeah.
I have seen that meme, and I wish I hadn't.
I still think I'm the only one of us who said the name of the song, though.
Yeah.
You were
Well-
right. I didn't need to say the name.
No. Yeah.
All right.
They also, do you remember? It's crazy to me that they used that for the entire soundtrack of the Batman. They decided that they would use Heart Shaped Box, as the
Nirvana
rhythm.
doesn't really align with Batman.
but it worked really good. It was,
Eh,
I don't know. I thought that was actually
Eh.
one of the better parts of that movie.
eh.
The repeating 3 same notes. Tears for Fears. Everybody wants to rule the world.
Everybody does want to. Yep, he's right.
Yeah, that was.
I was
that
singing the song in my head because I couldn't get to like. I
That
wish
was-
they'd give us the freaking.
Do you, yeah, it was at the end of Real Genius, and I think that was the first time I had heard it.
It was also one of the only the only time Josh Gad has ever been funny in the movie Pixels, when he's at the White House, celebration dinner in Pixels. He starts
Are you
singing
joining
that.
as a special guest?
karaoke.
Are you gonna play the game with us?
Did this get the Bride of Slender to move away from World War?
Danced. He
She's
danced
quit
into the room.
World of Warcraft.
Here we go.
Tears for Fears was actually a very good
Oh
band.
yeah, they were. I was a couple years back. They were doing a tour with Hall and Oates, like where they were the opening to Hall and Oates, and I was like legit. I had found out about it playing in DC, like the day before the concert, and I was like, oh, they're like $150 tickets. I was like, but these are like, if I'm gonna spend $150 to go to a concert, I at least know I would enjoy everything happening. Like Hall and Oates, I mean, come on, Hall and Oates is great, and Tears for Fears, like they're probably the best new wave 80s band. Like come on. And I didn't
Yeah.
go, and now that Hall and Oates are suing each other, I'm like, I guess I'll never be able to see them playing again.
Right.
And striving as fast as it can. The sun has gone
Cake!
down.
The
and moon
Distance
has
by
And long ago-
Cake.
Cake.
He's
guess I
going
know which-
the distance.
I know which one
He's
that
going for
Slender was actually a
speed.
fan of.
I liked Cake. Cake was one of my.
Yeah, but you
go-tos
didn't name the
back in day.
song. That was the point.
The band is harder to name. I started with the band. You went to the song.
look at Tina over here crushing on the blue-eyed soul singer. Daryl. Oh wait, no, it was Hall. Wait, yeah, Hall was the lead, the actual.
I think out of Tears for Fears songs, I think Head Over Heels was better than Everybody Wants to Rule the World. And it was a better music video. The one in the library.
Yeah, I like Everybody Wants to Rule the World because it was also the opening for the Dennis Miller show on HBO, and I
Yeah.
used to really love that show.
Head Over Heels gets forgotten, though, and I think that I love that song.
It's true. I do like Cake.
The Distance.
I was running track the year that song came out, so that was kind of our song for that season. Don't you want me, baby?
Baby.
Don't you
Now-
want me, baby?
Yeah.
Now,
Don't-
what was the
right.
name
Don't
of the
you
band?
want me?
Don't you?
The band didn't have a name.
Yeah, they did.
Um,
Let's see. Mr. Bojan apparently believes 90s music trumps 80s music.
yeah, Bad Takes right. It's Human League.
Yeah, Human League is.
So's
the name of the
E-Clay.
band. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if 90s music trumps 80s music.
I feel like they're kind of a combination. They go
That's like
together.
an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object.
I
I
feel
don't
like
know what
it's
had happened.
80s music and 90s music together is like peanut butter and jelly. It's just a great
Well, it's
combination.
right up until when grunge hit, 80s and 90s was kind of mixed because it was glam of either glam rock or glam, this stuff.
Yeah,
But then
the new
grunge hit,
wave.
and
Yeah.
that became, completely different. Grunge was definitely better than new wave Emperors.
Yeah, I like grunge. a
Grunge
lot.
was the best. That was where music ended for me.
There it is, Human League. That is the correct answer.
I never knew the name of that band.
Little Miss Can't Be Wrong by
Can't Be
Spin
Wrong,
Doctors.
yep.
Yep.
Spin Doctors. A band heavily featured in So I Married an Ex-Murderer.
It was, yeah. Got Tina over here. Ick grunge. I mean, grunge is pretty awesome for rock music.
Alice in
It is.
Chains, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Nirvana, Stone Temple Pilots.
I mean, then we've even got the combo bands like Temple of the Dog when they were doing the fundraiser.
The first super band.
Yeah.
Well, not first, but one of the biggest. I guess there were more before that when members of Cream became other bands and stuff, or even Genesis was a super band in a way.
Whole Assassin G's Brahma was one of your girlfriends.
These songs
a DJ,
aren't hard
just
to name,
names.
really.
I mean, if you grew up around this era, this is. Not
I had thousands of CDs. She Drives Me Crazy by
Fine Young Cannibals.
Fine Young Cannibals. Yep.
Oh, this is gonna be a regular segment. It's just
Oh my God, Ace of Base?
no,
Gonna
it's the
Be
Real
My
McCoy.
Lover.
Oh, this isn't
The
Ace of
Real
Base.
Gonna Be
McCoy.
My
Sorry.
Lover by Real McCoy.
Real McCoy.
Or is it just My Lover?
Oh no,
Be
it's
My
La
Lover.
Bouche.
Yeah.
La Bouche.
LaBouche.
By the way, La Bouche is you don't want to have to like. That's not a great name for a band. They should have.
That's just not a great
LaBouche
name, period.
McFadden.
I like. Look how quick when Emperor's knows he's quick on the time. Wannabe. That's
Yeah, because you can tell with the delay that he's getting them pretty quick.
Yep.
Because we get it about 20 seconds first. Annie Lennox and the Eurythmics, Sweet Dreams.
Some of them want to use.
I got both parts of that one. Again.
Yeah,
That's one of the
mean,
weird ones that I think Marilyn Manson did better.
Well, yeah, where
Yeah.
they can. The other one, do you ever heard Seether's version of what is it called the
Wham
You-
song.
no, You and Me, like the friend, Imagine Me and You and Me, the friend
The
song.
Turtles?
Yeah, the Seether did a version of it where they slow it down and make it creepy, and it basically becomes like a stalking anthem when you do it that way. It's like, man, I
They
sometimes
turned
I
it
like,
into a Police song.
they slowed it down and made it really slow and gothy, and it was like,
haven't heard that one.
Imagine Me and You and it's like, oh, this guy is going to jail for stalking somebody. Like,
Oh, one of the best covers I ever heard was Typo Negative doing Britney Spears.
yeah.
Yeah, I really liked not Marilyn Manson, but a band called Gravity Kills did a cover of Personal Jesus that I really liked.
Gravity Kills was on the 7 soundtrack with the song Guilty.
Yeah,
Hey, hey, hey.
I really like Gravity Kills.
That
Yeah,
well, the whole
there's-
7 soundtrack was fantastic.
Yes, it was.
Vertical Res. I'm sure most stalkers' favorite band was Seether. Yeah, I feel like there
Yes,
was
E.
probably-
Clay, the Typo Negative cover of Summer Breeze is also fantastic. Summer Breeze makes me feel fine.
I just like Typo
Hootie and the
Negative.
Blowfish.
Hootie and the Blowfish.
I want to hold your hand, right?
No,
Traveler was better.
it's not.
I only want to be with you.
I only want to be.
I only
with
want to
you.
be with you. Yeah.
Okay, Bad Take Bojan telling me that Seether was awesome. I saw them open for Nickelback like 10 years ago, and she's telling us that grunge was ick when she's
and
admitting.
you watched Nickelback?
Yeah, she went to a
Actually,
Nickelback concert.
I've been to a Nickelback concert. They are probably 100% harder in concert than they are on their radio edits.
Yeah,
Nickelback, I don't understand the hate for Nickelback. When they were coming out with songs, everybody loved them. It was only like 10 years later that everybody decided they hated them.
You know,
yes, they're
Nickelback,
formulaic, but
I'll
they
tell
were
you,
absolutely a pretty good band.
if I told you that Nickelback was going on tour with a band from the 90s that had the same problem, I bet you'd know exactly which band I'm going to say. Starts with a C and ends with a D.
Creed.
Creed.
Yeah.
Because
Creed
no
was
one,
so much more cringy.
but no one wants to admit Creed was one of the biggest fucking bands.
Yeah.
Those songs were mega
like
hits,
Creed.
man. With arms
And they were
wide
having to
open.
fight off the ska movement at that time.
Yeah. I mean, do you remember how you couldn't go
with
10
arms
minutes
wide
without
open.
hearing with arms wide open?
Yeah.
It's
But do you
like,
guys remember what Nickelback's first actual radio hit was?
was it the song about how he married what's her name before she was replaced by a body double?
Nope.
It
It was a
wasn't the
song
one.
called Leader of Men, and it is completely different from almost every other song that they put out. And Leader of Men was a freaking fantastic song. And it was actually about the same time that Disturbed came out with Stupefy and all that stuff. So those songs were like back to back on the radio, like every hour.
I
So
like
Stupefy by
but
Disturbed
dude,
and Leader of Men by Nickelback.
But Disturbed is formulaic as fuck too. Like, oh my god, I had like most of Disturbed.
Let's finish up formulaic as fuck because here's Hootie and the Blowfish.
I still say Blues Traveler was better.
They were better.
Blues Traveler is fantastic. Hook is one of the best songs ever written.
Oh, come on. Everybody's got to know this one. You don't know it. Come on. You know it.
I know the song.
I know it.
I
I'm
hate
just
the
trying to
song.
sing
I
through
want
it
to
in my
dance with
head.
somebody.
I want to
by
dance
Whitney
with somebody.
Houston.
Whitney Houston.
I want to dance with somebody.
See, you've already taken this quiz, haven't you?
Yeah, but I knew this song immediately. Come on. Like,
Yeah, but that's still cheating.
Yeah, you're a cheater.
all right,
Before
well,
you even are clicking play, you're like, you should know this one. That dead chick. Nice.
Oh, here's the better one.
Oh man.
Oh, too soon.
wanna-
No, I'm kidding.
I want to smoke crack with somebody.
I gotta find the clip where her saying crack is whack because that was.
But in a good way,
Well,
apparently.
my favorite part was when she was doing that interview. Her defense on why she wasn't on crack was like, she's like, I have money, I would do cocaine.
Crack is for a certain segment of the population.
She's like, I'm more classy than that.
You give up? Never!
That was not a time where she looked
If you're
good.
enjoying the content, hit the subscribe button to help support
I
the
will
channel.
not subscribe.
Let's get back to it.
Blink 182, all the small things.
Rating.
All the small things, Blink 182.
That was from, I remember that was in American Pie 2.
I remember that when the Avs won the Stanley Cup, every time we had a lead in the third period, that song would come on and the whole arena would sing
That
it.
was, what was that, 2000?
No, that was like 2 years ago.
I'm talking about like when the song came out, was it?
Well, yeah, it was
You
way
realize
back.
when I put these
2000s.
headphones on, I can't hear
No.
what you're saying.
It was probably closer to 98, 99,
Was it?
I think.
Am
Because
I
I think
thinking
it
of
was high school.
I think I'm getting them
For me.
confused with Sum 41
But
for
they
a second.
can.
Sum 41 was also in the 90s.
Oh, I
Fat
refer-
Lip was like 96 or
Yeah,
97.
I
think.
forgot. This was the video where they're making fun of the
And they're
Backstreet
naked for half
Boys.
of the video. Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing all the boy band videos, and it was hilarious. I loved that. That was back when.
Yeah.
I'm gonna admit that I would flip on Total Request Live sometimes to see what the new videos were.
I was not a fan of Blink 182 at all.
Do you
They've
remember
grown
they
on
had?
me a little bit
I kind
since,
of
but
like them.
I was never a fan of them.
I just remember they had Janine on the cover of their CD, and that was like a funny
Right.
thing. It was like you put an adult film actress on your CD, putting a glove on.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Something that Bloodhound Gang would have done.
As, everybody talks about whatchamacallit, the you was it You and Me Baby Ain't Nothing But Mammal. What's the name of the song? It's
Discovery Channel.
Yep.
But I always liked the other song they did where the lap dance is better when the stripper is
Lap
crying.
dance is always better when the stripper's crying.
crying. It
I-
just cracked me up.
I've loved almost every album that they've ever put out. The One Fierce Beer Coaster was the name of the first album, and it had Fire Water Burn, which was the Roof is on Fire remix that they did very,
see.
very slowly.
Boys dominated till Corn beat them. Corn, oh, I remember, what was the name of that song that was the video with the bullet like traveling? Oh, thanks, Soul Assassin. The name of the song was The Bad Touch. Yeah.
The Bad Touch,
The
yeah.
Bad Touch.
The Corn video with the bullet was
I can hear the song, I can see the video. I just don't remember the
Something
name
Takes
of
a Part
Part
of
of
Me.
Something
Freak on a
gets
Leash.
to the... Yeah, there we go.
Oh, Soul Assassin got it right after me. Up your loving on.
Spin me right
You
round.
spin me right round, baby, right round like a
Just-
record player.
The thing that got this song, wasn't that the one in they played it in Wedding Singer, right?
Yeah.
That was what they were playing when they were on the plane flying, and he's like, see, Billy Idol gets it.
Do you know who played the Boy George person thing in that?
That was Arquette, the one that ended up being
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the Arquettes.
Not David Arquette.
No, it
Not
was the freak Arquette.
not the older sister, not Roseanne, or I think that's Roseanne Arquette, but
Rosanna,
yeah. The freak
There's Rosanna Arquette,
other
Patricia
Arquette.
Arquette, David Arquette, and then Arquette.
and then that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dead or alive.
Oh, pause.
Yep.
Emperor's got it exactly right.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. He even because I just said "spin me right round" because I knew the lyrics. I did not know
Baby
that it
right
didn't
round.
say "right round" in the title.
Until- Emperor's is if you factor in the delay, Emperor's is the winning person on this
Yeah,
competition.
he's doing great.
Tina over here, yes, Wedding Singer is an underrated classic. It's probably one
It
of
was in that
It's not one
session
of
of
my
Adam
favorites.
Sandler movies that was good.
It's
think
not one of
out
my
of the,
favorites,
like,
though.
for the romantic comedy Adam Sandler ones, I think it's my favorite like romantic comedy Adam Sandler one.
Oh yeah, and the song that he wrote.
Yeah,
Would somebody kill me,
I
please?
was like, would you get out of my Van Halen t-shirt before you jinx the band and they break up? Oh, here you go, Emperor's My Grunge is Weak Sauce, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd kill you on that part.
This is Goo Goo Dolls, clearly.
Goo Goo Dolls. Stand up. No. So why don't you
Put your arms
smile?
around me. What you feel is what you are.
Is
what
it
you are
is it
beautiful.
Smile?
No, you're close.
Is that the
though.
name of it?
Why don't you
Slide.
Slide. There you go.
Slide is what it's called.
Why don't you slide?
I mean, they should have gone with Irish.
Why don't you enunciate, you fucking bitch?
Jesus.
I mean, it does sound like Smile.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've heard the song before, but
Where's
You
Tina's
keep me
gotta be-
hanging on.
I'm gonna guess right now that
You just
Tina,
keep me hanging on.
Yeah, if Tina's in chat still, she'll be able to get that one.
we don't.
I'm gonna
know
give her a
how-
second for the catch up on that,
We don't
but
know how much the Ambien has taken control.
that's true.
E-Clay's going with my answer. You keep
We're
me
going
hanging
late
on.
right now.
Yeah,
Oh, so
Clay's
what?
got it.
We got
Oh,
nothing
this is
else going
fun.
on. Mad hasn't joined yet.
He's been waking up since 9:11.
Yeah. Oh, I did get it.
You did. I didn't know who Kim Wilde was, but I knew the song.
Bad take on it.
Eminem.
The real
what's the
Slim
name of
Shady.
the-
Real Slim Shady.
Yeah, look at
Right?
the delay. Tina knew even the singer.
Yeah, she got the Kim Wilde.
Yep. Yeah, I mean this one is. I know if Mad was here, since we did that whole segment on white rappers, he should have got this one immediately.
Oh, it's My Name Is. I screwed that.
Slim Shady. You know, if you were, I used to love when you'd go on Napster or LimeWire, and you'd see all the different versions of the song's name versus what it actually is named. So, like
Yeah.
with that one,
Oh.
you would see 20,000 versions of Slim Shady, but there would be a minuscule number of My Name.
You know what my favorite was? Stuck in the Middle with You, always by Bob Dylan, not by Steeler's Wheel. It was on Napster and LimeWire. It was Stuck in the Middle with You by Bob Dylan every single time. Nobody
because,
named it as Steeler's Wheel.
Well,
And
that's
you know who
because
the lead singer of Steeler's Wheel was?
who's that?
Jerry Rafferty, who sang Baker Street. You know, the one with the
Oh, I love Baker.
saxophone solo?
Yeah.
That's the lead singer of Steeler's Wheel.
No, what's funny is because what happens is some person does it wrong, and then they share the song, and then it gets just like the copying of the error just keeps happening as
Yeah.
it gets propagated.
The
So
other one
it's
it happened with was Silent Lucidity by Queensryche, was always Silent Lucidity by Pink Floyd, because that song sounds like a Pink Floyd song, and everybody just assumed it was Pink Floyd.
Yeah, I loved seeing the mistakes that would happen. That's stuff.
Oh yeah. It's the final countdown by Europe. By Europe.
I love when Slender knows one because he's so excited to say.
Yeah, but I
Dude,
still
I love
beat
the
him.
final countdown. You didn't beat me.
Yes, I did.
We
And
said
there's
it at the
video
same
proof of it.
Fucking time.
You keep
You're done.
Stop being.
was that bride that just went
Yes, it was. So it looks like Tina got the band. Everybody,
Yeah, everybody
Emperors
got
and
that.
E-Clay got because that is a very distinctive song, so it makes sense.
had not a great song.
It's a great song. Shut your fucking mouth.
The beginning
Final
is.
countdown.
So take the photographs and still frames and
Green Day, Time of Your Life, which is actually known as Good Riddance, is the actual name of the song. Time of Your Life is the parentheses name of the song.
Can I
And
tell
it's
you
one of Green Day's worst songs.
how annoyed I was? Because I don't know what year you graduated, Brahma. High school.
2000.
Yeah, so every goddamn
It's every
speech,
graduation song. It's every fucking graduation
because it was
song.
I graduated in 99, and I went to a couple of my other friends' graduations, and I went to mine, and each valedictorian, it was like, let me to quote the song, and I was like, oh my god, again.
Let me remind you that it's something unforgettable, but
Yeah.
in the end, it's right. I
Yeah,
hope you
it's-
had the time of your life.
And now that one was number one, and the second most common thing was the valedictorian going with "Oh, the Places You'll Go" from Dr. Seuss. I was like, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ! Did you guys?
You know what?
get-
This song was absolutely hilarious because at a company that I worked at, we were retiring. It was a retirement party for one of our state directors, and nobody really liked him all that much. And they played this song, and I leaned over and whispered to his assistant who was putting together everything. I was like, "You do realize that the actual name of this song is Good Riddance, right?" And she was like, "Are you
No.
serious?" I was like, "Yes, even though everybody calls it Time of Your Life, it's called Good Riddance."
There it is.
And they
Brahma
spelled
with-
Good Riddance wrong
They
because it's
did.
RIDDANCE.
Yes, it is.
But yeah,
Oh.
It was hilarious
hey,
because
hey,
she was
at least
super
they're not-
embarrassed and hoping that the guy never figured out that that's what the actual name of the song
I mean,
was.
if
Brahma,
that guy
at least
was
they're
older
not
than
American idiots, right?
Yeah.
I love Bad Take Bojan dating herself here. My high school graduation song was Forever Young by Rod Stewart, which is
For
I can see
ever young.
just the
Yeah,
same
how's that working out for
valedictorians
you?
using Good Riddance would definitely have been the same type who would have used Forever Young by Rod Stewart.
Well, I stopped
Yep.
feeling young 10 years ago, so.
I like Forever Young. It was a great song. It was definitely better than Maggie May. Genesis.
But what's the name of the song?
She's got.
Got the physical.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Physical touch? No. Invisible touch.
Yep, E-Clay, Invisible, and Emperor's got it, and Bad Take Bojan. So
Yeah. It was Genesis before Phil Collins split off.
well, after Peter Gabriel split off, though.
That was one of the worst spoken lyrics ever. I mean, it's almost impossible to tell what he's saying if you don't know the
I mean,
name of the
you
song.
think? I mean, it's not as bad as Zuzu Studio,
Yeah.
which is another.
Susu Studio. Horrible.
I realized quickly when I knew I should.
Four non-blondes. What's going on?
I thought Slender would have had that one. Either that
And
or
I
Bride of
said,
Hey.
I
we
would've
should
had
we
that
should
one, but
definitely
my
After-
wife keeps deciding that the dog needs to come and go out of this fucking room and distracting me.
yeah, but after this is done, we should definitely play the He-Man Four Non-Blondes song.
Yeah.
The ultimate meme from the 90s.
Oh, I think E-Clay must have.
What's up? Four Non-Blondes. Yep. What's going on?
Tina over here, such an overplayed song, but it fits for a lot of
Hey.
occasions, so that's why I think it. Yeah,
I did like this song,
it's.
even for a whole bunch of lesbos.
Deep in the top of my lungs, what's going on?
I can guarantee you that they definitely played more than one Lilith Fair in the '90s. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Bride of Slender has apologized to Leonard over here.
That doesn't get me that song back.
Or a sandwich.
I don't want a sandwich. I'm full.
I think we're alone now by what is her name? Tiffany?
Ugh.
It's the remake. I mean, it's a cover, but is it Tiffany?
It's like it's either
Sang it in the
Tiffany or
mall?
Debbie Gibson or Tiffany. Those are your
I
choices.
don't
No, it's
know.
Tiffany. It's
Every
definitely
time I
not
hear
Debbie
that
Gibson.
song, I just know that
I
I'm
think
running
we're
just as
alone
fast as I
now.
can.
Yeah, it's Tiffany.
Oh nope. E-Clay saying
Oh.
Debbie Gibson. I guess
No,
we'll find out.
It's Tiffany.
No, it's Tiffany. Screw you, E-Clay. I'm sorry, E-Clay. I didn't mean it.
Brahma's just a mean person. Oh, I don't.
That's Christina Aguilera. What a Girl Wants.
What a Girl Wants. That's right.
You know what, Brahma? There are some things you should be ashamed that you know.
I knew it too.
I am a
I'm not gonna
fount
lie.
of useless knowledge, Slender. I mean, if I
Slender-
heard it at one point in my childhood, I know it.
You got to realize. I know that you're just slightly younger. Just slightly,
I'm really not.
within a couple years. But I mean,
That
How
couple
many
years
years-
makes a big difference
That
with
does.
Christina Aguilera
Yeah.
because if
mean-
you wanted to rub her
if you wanted to,
her
you gotta
bottle,
rub her the right way because she's
you
a
gotta
genie
rub
in
her
the
the right
bottle.
way.
Can you guys shut up for 5 seconds? Brahma, when did you graduate high school?
2000.
Same as me. We're the same fucking age.
Okay, then you didn't understand Christina.
No, I didn't like Christina.
Neither did I, but I knew the songs because
I
I
mean-
was dating a whole bunch of girls who only listened to that kind of crap.
You made mistakes.
89. for
No,
Stan.
didn't marry him at any of them, so no mistakes were made.
There's only one permanent mistake you had to worry about, maybe.
I am semi-surprised that I got the song that quickly. I
Alright.
know it.
Love isn't always on time.
Yep.
I don't know the singer.
No, it's Toto. Hold the line. Yep, E-Clay got it too.
Yep.
Toto, famous for Africa and
And for doing the soundtrack for
Rosanna,
Dune for 1984.
Indeed. Well, was it Toto or was it really just their guitarist?
Either way, it was awesome.
Yeah, that was one of the best soundtracks ever, instrumentally. Every morning. Sugar
Halo.
Ray. No, it's not Sugar Ray.
It's Halo.
It's who?
No, the song is Halo.
And the band?
Okay.
I don't know the fucking band.
Is it Sugar Ray? I don't think it's Sugar Ray.
It is Sugar Ray.
Probably is.
It is
It's
Sugar
Sugar
Ray?
Ray. Yep.
Okay.
Every morning in the...
Yeah, it's not Fly, so I mean
You know,
Fly
I-
Morning
and
in
Stand
the-
and Deliver were the only two good songs by them.
You know,
It's
I
every
res-
morning there's a halo hanging from the corner of my girlfriend's
four-post bed.
Right.
I respect the heck out of Sugar Ray because they got a really good reputation being a hardcore rock band, and they sold the hell out.
Push It.
Push it real good. Salt and pepper.
Yep.
Man, when they
played-
play a random sampling of that, it just sounds like a garbled fucking mess, doesn't it?
And I don't think I've ever actually listened to that song.
I listened to it for sure because I played it for my wife while she was in labor because I thought it was hilarious to do that.
Oh yeah.
You also played it
Original,
for her
too.
while you were conceiving. Might as well bring this around full circle. Let's play it in the delivery room too.
It looks like Push It was
Yeah,
definitely one
Chad's
of the more
got this one.
recognizable songs. So,
This has got to be next to last, right?
yep, it's
One more song after
so we
this?
got one more.
Red Hot Chili Peppers, Californication. I got that one quick.
Was Californication even one of their songs in the 90s?
Yes.
No, it was 2000s, I think.
Was it?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, yeah,
May
Chili
have been
Peppers were around in
99.
the 90s, but
May have been the
pretty-
dead end of the 90s at 99, but
it probably was then.
it felt
'cause-
more like a 2001, 2002 song.
Yeah.
Californication came out in 99, June 8th. So,
Okay.
So halfway through 99.
so
Right
it
at the
came-
end of 99.
It came out 2 weeks before I graduated.
Yes.
But I hit that one real quick.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a
I showed you
90s.
that. I showed you guys that video of Chad Smith playing that song by Jared Leto's band, right? The Drumeo video.
No, I don't think we saw that.
Oh, you guys have got to check that out. So Chad Smith, the drummer from Red Hot Chili Peppers, he went on this channel called Drumeo. And what they do is they play a song that he doesn't know and they play it without the drum beat. So they strip it down, no drum beat. All he can hear is the vocals, the guitar and the bass. And they played 30 Seconds to Mars, which is Jared Leto's band. And Chad Smith, like, he listens to like 20 seconds of it, maybe 30 seconds of it, and then he just nails the drum beat. He just goes into it and plays it live with the song. While most drummers on that show, they'll start like charting out the times and be like, okay, here's what I want to do in this section. Here's what I want to do in this section. Chad Smith just immediately goes into it and is just like, screw it. And then they finish it. And they're like, "So do you want to do a full take of the song?" He was like, "Why would I? I just effing nailed it." And then they play the actual song for him, and he's like, "Yeah, I basically just did that. Probably better than the guy who actually does it. It is the most insane video I have ever seen of a drummer. It's amazing. We got to watch it after we're done."
Yeah, that dude always reminded me of Will Ferrell.
Yeah, he's Will Ferrell's twin brother. They've done that on late night TV. They've had Will Ferrell, Chad Smith, twin thing where they each pretended to be the other guy. And Will Ferrell can actually play the drums pretty well too. So they had a drum off on either Fallon or O'Brien. I can't remember which one.
Wait. So at the Catalina wine mixer, that wasn't like.
Yeah. No, he was that. Will Ferrell can actually play the drums a bit.
That's pretty good. Oh, I think we definitely gonna have to make that a regular segment because that was fun.
Yeah, I like that.
I just really appreciated how excited Slender got when it was
I
one he
think
knew.
I will drop before that segment from now on.
Slender's 5 songs that he knew out of the 30. He did great.
For that reason, and for the reason that every time I try to talk, you two are so excited you won't shut up and let me have any time to speak.
I think that was your bride, not us.
Anyway, have fun.